Good evening and welcome to the J-98 Dream Team Ceremony. Listen to that crowd. My name is Glenn Johnson. I'm sports director at KTJJ and KREI Radio. I'll be your master of ceremonies today. And we've also got Ryan Reinheimer alongside. He is our sports director at KJFF Radio in Festus. He deals with the Jefferson County coaches and athletes. You guys probably recognize him. Chuck Odell is our sales manager. He'll be taking the pictures today. So when the athletes come up next to the podium, give a big smile. Chuck will take your picture. We'll post those online at mymowinfo.com along with all of our Dream Team interviews and the video of this ceremony. Already told you about Jack Sadler. He's running the camera back there. And then you also saw the lovely faces of our sales staff as you walked in that took all of your information. That's our introduction. And now it's time to explain to you the Dream Team process. Basically, how it works is we have no say in who makes the Dream Team here at the radio stations. We basically just send out nomination forms to each of the coaches in each and every sport throughout the season, and we separate them into fall, winter, and spring sports. So we've got 2 more ceremonies to come later on this year. But our fall sports is the one we're focusing on right now. We send out the nomination forms, and each coach nominates a number of their athletes and sends those nominations back to us at the radio station. All we do is compile all that info onto a ballot, resend that out to the coaches, and let the coaches vote on who they think is deserving of making our Dream Team. And the result of that is what you're seeing here today. The athletes standing behind me are the ones that the coaches picked to make our fall sports Dream Team this year. That's how it works. It's a big honor to make the Dream Team, as there's so many teams that we cover at J-98 Radio, KREI Radio, and KJF Radio that it's more like an all-region team. It's a bigger honor than all-district or all-conference because there's so many more schools involved. It's tough to make our Dream Team. So everybody who is standing behind me is a great athlete in our area, and they deserve all the recognition that they're going to get today. Our first order of business before we get to the introduction of the players and coaches is we will be welcoming up to the stage Ron Whittier of the Southeast Missouri Football Officials Association. And as he does every year, he will be presenting the Sportsmanship Award from that association. Please welcome to the stage Ron Whittier.
Thank you, Glenn. Hello to all of you. And again, it's always very exciting to be taking part in such a prestigious ceremony. Our association would like to thank J-98 and their affiliates for continuing to allow our association to present our award as part of this program. Due to the length of the program, I will make every effort to keep my comments brief. The School Sportsmanship Award was founded in 2005 by the Southeast Missouri Officials Association to recognize outstanding all-around sportsmanship by players, coaches, and fans in the Mississippi Valley Football Conference. The recipient is selected by the vote of the entire membership of our association. The criteria for the selection include an understanding and appreciation of the rules of the game, exercising a sound, value-based behavior at all times, recognizing and appreciating skills and performances of opponents, exhibiting mutual respect for all participants, coaches, and officials, displaying openly a respect for the opponents at all times, and taking pride in your school, your actions, and yourself. At this time, it's my pleasure to present this year's award to the Tigers of Festus High School. Coach Russ Schmidt cannot be here tonight, and accepting on his part is Jim Sardo. Please come forward to accept the award.
One more big round of applause for the Festus football Tigers. I know I'm still pretty young. I'm 26 years old, but I've done play-by-play football coverage, all different kinds of high school coverage in different states, and the sportsmanship in this area, you know, far and away is the greatest. So a big round of applause for every single sporting athlete in our area for their great sportsmanship. As far as the presentation of the athletes goes, we will start with cross country. The cross country dream team has been expanded this year by 2, and I've been talking it over with the cross country coaches the past couple of years about trying to get it expanded even further, because cross country is such a great sport in our area. There's so many good runners in our area. It expanded by 2 this year, could expand further in years forward, and I'm sure the coaches will be talking to you about that. Our first coach to come up and talk to us is last year's co-coach of the year. Please welcome to the podium Farmington coach Jordan Stone.
Okay, well, thanks to J-98 again, as always, for having this ceremony for everyone. It's great to get the opportunity to come up here and talk just a little bit about the young man standing to my left, Jake Birch. Jake's the son of Matt and Cindy Sebastian. They do a great job with him. I want to talk just real briefly about how Jake got here. Jake did not run cross country or track in middle school for us. Very few of our kids just start in high school. Most start in middle school. Jake didn't. He came over because he was interested in one of the girls on the team. And when you coach a sport like cross country, you got to get kids by any means necessary. And so that worked for us. And as soon as Jake started running his freshman year, we knew immediately that he was born with the ability to do something that not a lot of people have. By the end of his freshman year, he was the #1 freshman in the state in cross country. And at the end of his freshman track season, had run the mile in 4:39 and the 2 mile in 9:58, which were ranked second in the state in both of those events. And the future looked really bright up until 2 weeks into his sophomore cross country season, when he sustained what I think is probably the most severe stress fracture injury I've ever seen. And I still have the image in my mind when he brought in the MRI printout of the injury, and I looked at it and thought, man, it's going to be a long road back, and much longer than what Jake realized. And he really kind of got hit with a double whammy on that deal, because not only was he basically no running at all really for about 4 to 6 months, and then once he was able to start running, he went through another 9 or 10 months of residual pain from the injury. He had about 15 months that he wasn't really able to do any serious training. And unfortunately, during that stretch of time, something else also happened, as he grew about 6 or 8 inches and gained about 30 or 40 pounds. And so when he was finally healthy enough to train again, his body no longer responded the way it once had. And so he had to endure something that I've seen a lot of high school kids endure, and most of them don't stick it out through it, and that is going through multiple seasons of being dominated by people that he used to beat with ease. And that's pretty tough on the pride when you have to go through that. But Jake told me several times through there, I love to run, and I'm not going anywhere. If I'm never fast again, I'm never fast again, but I'm not going to leave. And so that meant a lot to me. Last year, at the end of his junior track season, he still wasn't running very fast, but I was starting to see some things that told me that maybe his body had finally adjusted to the growth spurt. And by the end of the track season, I was convinced that his senior year was going to be successful. And it was. He had a great senior year this year. In our 10 regular season meets, he had 5 first-place finishes and 3 second-place finishes. Had a tremendous year, one of the greatest seasons that a Farmington cross-country runner has ever had. And it was incredibly exciting to me. One of the things that was most rewarding about it was the other coaches and the other kids from other schools I know Christian Hunter from Festus is sitting back there. He's one of those guys, and Coach Wright from Festus, and lots of the other coaches as well who came up to me this year and said, man, it's great to have Jake back. And there was no bitterness at all. Everybody was so pleased to see him finally being rewarded for some of the perseverance that he had shown through some really challenging times. And so it was incredibly exciting for me as his coach to see him get some success. He does intend to run in college next year. I don't think at this point we're prepared to say where that's going to be, but I know there are some opportunities there, and that's going to be exciting. Whoever gets him is going to get a real gem, because there's a lot of improvement left, and I'm really excited to see where he goes as a runner from here, as well as the kind of track season that he's going to have this coming spring. So congrats to Jake and to the rest of the Dream Teamers. Thank you very much.
Our next presenter was also the other co-coach of the year from last year, and he's won that award every year since we started the cross-country Dream Team. Please welcome Coach Bryant Wright from Festus.
Christian Hunter, what a story. A member of 2 Class 3 state championship teams and 2 second-place teams. He's also all-conference, all-district, and he's a 2-time all-stater. He won 3 races this year, a true success story, a kid that as a freshman he wasn't sure he wanted to come out and run. He came out and ran. He was a part of the 2009 state cross-country championship team. The next day he was so excited he went out and ran 12 miles. Christian, some other things about Christian is he realized that, you know, by hard work and, you know, winning is a lot of fun, and hard work can help get you there. Now, there was a day in the summer a couple years ago that he was out running, and it was about 3 in the afternoon, and it was a really hot day, not using his brain, and was out running. And so he got to the point where he was kind of walking, and a parent stopped and picked him up and said, Christian, what were you thinking? Why were you out there running? And he said, well, how am I going to beat Shane Brown, who was an all-stater next year, if I'm not out here running? So that's Christian Hunter. We've run a lot of miles together, Christian and I have. I usually run with him. And one time we were on a run, and I tripped over the sidewalk. It happened to be a cracked sidewalk, and I fell down and got back up and was running. We got back to the weight room, and somebody said, hey, Coach, what happened? You got a footprint on the back of your shirt. And I said, I do. And they go, yeah. And I looked at it, and sure enough, it was Christian Hunter's footprint. I like to think that was an accident, but I don't know for sure if it was. Also, I learned that when you're running, they have these PVC pipes that are sticking up off the ground, and they say, warning, gaslight. Well, there's also another warning. The warning is that there's a pipe there. And I found that out because we were running along one day, and all of a sudden I hear a loud noise, and I look over, and there's Christian right on his face. He had ran right into that thing and right over and popped it over. So there's more than one reason why those are there. This I know about Christian. As goofy as he is and as goofy as he has been, this coach here will miss him. Christian is the son of Debbie Hunter, and it's my pleasure to introduce Christian Hunter.
Next up was to be a Herculaneum coach, Kyle Davis, girls cross country coach. Could not make it today, but Jim Caston, the girls assistant, will be here to speak on behalf of Caitlin Fisher. But Herculaneum, just to let you know, and I'm sure Coach will tell you all about it, they've won 7 girls state titles and 5 boys titles over the past 13 years. That's the kind of pedigree Coach Caston's going to be talking about right now. Please welcome Jim Caston to the podium.
Well, first of all, let me thank Glenn and the radio station for doing this for the kids. It's a great thing and I certainly relish any time I get to speak about any of my runners. I've been doing this for a lot of years, since 1971, so I've been coaching going on 42 years. And in that time, I've coached many great kids, talented athletes, competitive, smart, goal-driven, and any positive adjective you want to put on an athlete, I've had them. But I've never had an athlete like Caitlin Fisher. She embodies every single positive thing you can think of when you talk about an athlete, when you talk about a young person. And I know there's many fine young people behind me, and as a person getting ready to go into retirement, I certainly feel secure in the fact that we have young people like Caitlin and these other ones behind us that are going to be taking over the world. Caitlin didn't run junior high cross country. She was a cheerleader, and which, you know, we almost didn't get her to run. But one day, after 8th grade basketball was over and her cheerleading was over, she came out and was running with our kids that run all winter long. And I saw her, I mean, they take off, and she takes off with the ones that have been running all winter. And when they get back, she's in front of all the ones that have been running all winter. I didn't know who she was. I asked Coach Thomas, our junior high coach, who is that? He said, that's Caitlin Fisher. She sprinted as a track athlete as a 7th grader. Well, immediately we knew we had something special. And from that point on, we made Caitlin a distance runner, and we talked her into leaving cheerleading behind. It wasn't an easy discussion. She actually did dual participation her freshman year. She cheerleaded and ran cross country, and on the days that she had to go to cheerleading practice or had a game, she got up and met me at school at 6 o'clock in the morning and ran on her own. And through the winter, then when the cheerleaders decided to practice every day after school, she met me every day, 6 o'clock in the morning, as a freshman high school girl, and ran. She ended that freshman her freshman cross-country season, she was 2nd in the state. And so she was well on her way to a great career. As a freshman on the track, she won the 3A mile, or 1,600 meter in 5:05.84, which may be one, if not the fastest time by a freshman girl ever in the state of Missouri. It's one of the fastest times, which I think might get broken this year, but anyway. She also won the 2 miles. She ran 11:08.56 and was a state champion. Since then, she's been 3rd at the state cross-country meet, 2nd again, won the mile and the 2 mile, both her sophomore and junior year at state, many-time conference champion, many-time district champion, and this year her big dream was to win the state cross-country meet, which she did, and she set a Class 2 state record running 18:40, breaking the old record by 21 seconds. Most places where she's ran, she holds the record. At the Jim Marshall meet in Jeff City, she holds the 5K record there of 19:35. She broke the Forest Park record this year, but was beaten by 2 other girls that ran even faster. She has the Class 1-2 Hancock record of 18:27. She has the Cape Notre Dame record, beating Alyssa Allison's old record. She ran 18:12, ran 18:11 at Farmington, holds a Farmington record and the course record. That's also the conference record. She's the district record holder and the Jackson course record holder of 18:17. And like I said before, she ran 18:40 and was a state champion, setting that state record. You know, it's bittersweet for me because I know this cross-country season's over for me and her, and we just have one more season to go, and I'm looking so forward to it. And when you get to be 64 years old, you shouldn't wish your life away. But I can't wait for that first meet in track season, for that next district meet and sectional meet and state meet, so that I can watch her do what she does. And that's to compete and to run her heart out. She is committed to the University of Missouri, and they have got a gem when they get Caitlin Fisher to come up there. I'm so excited for what future brings for her. She is the daughter of Mike and Judy Fisher. She is number 5 in her class. She actually is also the homecoming queen. So she's just well-rounded young lady that I'm so pleased to be able to be here to speak on her behalf. Great things are in the future for Caitlin Fisher. Thank you.
When I first came to the radio station about 3 years ago, I was told there was a guy in Potosi who is a track and cross-country guru, and didn't really think much of it at the time. But now, being the MC of the Dream Team ceremony the past 3 years and seeing how many Dream Team athletes he keeps providing, I'm starting to see exactly why they call him that now. Potosi coach Steve Davis.
Well, thank you for those kind words. I'd like to thank the radio station also for honoring these student athletes and all their accomplishments. Congratulations to each one of them. This young lady that I'm going to introduce is Sarah Jacobson. She's a senior at Potosi High School. She is the daughter of Mike and Joni Jacobson. And like Coach Casson, you know, getting attached and being around somebody for quite a long time. I did have the privilege of coaching her, being around her a lot through even 6th grade running club, but all the way from 7th grade through 12th grade that she's been involved in the running program at Potosi. And been very successful, obviously. She is a 3-time All-Stater in cross country and lost her chance last year to be a 4-time All-Stater due to an injury. So much like you heard Coach Stone talk about, injuries for runners are very frustrating and sometimes hard to bounce back from. But she had a leg injury. It was kind of hard to figure out, and it wasn't a stress fracture, but it kept her out of the entire junior year of cross country. And so last year when she rebounded and made All-State and placed 2nd in the state track meet last year as a junior, we had big plans, and she stayed injury-free through her summertime this past year and made All-State. She placed 2nd in the Class 3 race. Sub-19 was her goal, and she ran 18:44, still one of the top 25 fastest times in the history of girls cross-country on that course. It's a very tough course in Jeff City. So she has accomplished a lot, and she's going to be joining Caitlin Fisher at the University of Missouri to run cross-country and track next fall. So we're excited about that and plan on keeping tabs on her. And she's got a very bright future, and you know, she's a very, very classic example of what hard work and clean living will do for you. So I think she's just going to be very, very successful in what she does, and very proud of her, as I know her parents and her family are too. So this is Miss Sarah Jacobson.
Our next presenter led his girls team to a state title this past season. The boys team would finish 6th place this year, and he's also got 2 Dream Teamers, 1 in each of those. Please welcome Brian Jett from St. Genevieve.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the radio station for this honor as well. It's a great program that they have for these fine athlete and students. It's my honor to introduce Mr. Andrew Moore. I'll be talking about him first as my 2012 Dream Team recipient. Andy's the son of Mr. Steve and Sandy Moore. And Andy had quite a junior season. For young men in our sport, breaking the 17-minute barrier for a 5,000-meter race on a challenging course is often the gold standard. Andy was able to accomplish this in every race this season, including such courses as Sioux Passage, which has a hill infamously known as the Man Maker, and the Borgia Meet, as well as the state course. This is quite an accomplishment considering he only broke that 17-minute barrier one time last season where he ran 16:57 on a rather flat course. During his sophomore season, Andy earned all conference and all district honors, and he raced at the state meet where he, and I'm quoting him, laid an egg and placed 52nd, running in 18:09. This past summer, Andy went to work on his junior campaign. He ran countless miles with his teammates and volunteer coach, Mr. John Boyd. His hard work and dedication paid off. This season, Andy placed in the top 10 in every meet he raced, including the Tufts Forest Park Cross Country Festival. He won the Potosi Invitational, he won the Borgia Invitational, he won the MAAA Conference meet, he won the Class 3 District 1 meet, and Andy's season culminated by placing second at the Class 3 state meet. Mr. Andrew Moore's strengths are not just running. He's a great student and ranks 19th in his class with a GPA of 10.57. He's a young man of strong character, discipline, and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Moore. This season I've been blessed with two great runners to announce. The next one I'd like to introduce is Miss Taylor Werner. She's my female selection on the 2012 Dream Team. She's the daughter of Mr. Chris and Becky Werner. Taylor's short running career has been filled with many accomplishments. She made her first impact on the running scene at the Festival of Miles put on by Big River Running after her 8th grade season, where she ran a 5-minute mile and placed second. After a summer of training for her freshman season, she would not be disappointed. Her next big challenge was the Forest Park Cross Country Festival, where she astounded everyone by winning with a time of 16:59. Remember, the gold standard for boys is breaking that 17-minute barrier. This put young Taylor on the national radar. She remained undefeated during the regular season and set a new Class 3 course record at the state meet while leading her team to a state championship. She went on and raced in both the Nike and Foot Locker regional qualifiers. Taylor is the first freshman in the nation to qualify for both Nike and Foot Locker national championships. Furthermore, she's the only Missouri runner of any age to ever qualify for both. She placed 13th at the Foot Locker national meet and earned All-American honors. She was named Runner of the Year by both Mo Mile Split and the Missouri Cross Country News. Miss Werner is not just an exceptional runner, she's an exceptional young lady. She was the president of the National Junior Honor Society, she's a member of the Student Council, she's a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and has done community service for several worthy causes. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Taylor Werner.
It's now time to present our cross-country runner of the year and cross-country coach of the year. Now, we used to do a runner of the year for boys and girls cross-country. Since then, we've switched and just kind of been one runner of the year, whether it be a girl or a boy. We let the coaches vote on that. I promise we didn't do that just to save money on plaques. But we will have one cross-country of the runner this year, and I will tell you it's a she this year. It was the 2012 Class 3 state champion. She's nationally ranked and unbeaten in cross country, Taylor Werner of St. Genevieve. Let's let her get her picture taken with her plaque, and then we'll announce our cross country coach of the year. Our cross-country coach of the year, it's going to break a streak of 5 straight won by Bryant Wright. Sorry, Coach Wright, it won't be you this year. Our coach of the year was Taylor's coach, Brian Jett from St. Genevieve.
Thank you. Well, quite an honor. This wouldn't be possible without a great support staff, great assistant coach, Chris Werner, Taylor's father, a great volunteer coach, Mr. John Boyd, and some athletes that buy into my program and work very hard. I'd like to accept this on their behalf. Thank you.
One more big round of applause for the Cross Country Dream Team 2012. We move on to our soccer Dream Team this year. There were 8 selections in boys soccer. That has been expanded in recent years as well. Our first presenter finished his 8th year as the boys coach, and after a 3-10 start, turned the team around, went 9-1 the rest of the way, including a 9-game winning streak. They finished 12-11. Please welcome Rusty Sansagra from the Farmington Knights.
Thank you. It's my honor to speak on behalf of Logan England. Logan is the son of John and Michelle England. I've had the benefit of knowing Logan since our kids have grown up together. He and my daughter are the same age, and they actually started out on the same soccer team. And I want to congratulate John and Michelle. They've raised a fine young man here. You know, I couldn't ask for a better kid to represent my team than Logan England. Speak a little bit on some of his accomplishments. Logan is a member of the FCA, TSA, National Honor Society, basketball and baseball teams. He's ranked 21st in his class with a 10.7 on 11.0 scale. Logan was an all-conference member in 2011, and all-conference, all-district, all-region, and honorable mention all-state in 2012. He was our leading scorer this year with 8 goals and 11 assists. The stats don't really tell what Logan brings to our team. Logan is a very humble kid. This is probably killing him standing up here in front of everyone, but he leads by example on the field, off the field. Like I said before, I can't ask for a better young man. He's the type of player you don't have to worry about whether or not he's getting his off-season work in. He's always at the field. He is, anytime you show up on the weekend, I can promise you Logan will be out there. If not by himself, he will have other teammates out there with him. His knowledge and vision of the field is unbelievable. That might lead back to his basketball background also. He's the point guard on the basketball team, plays baseball. As a sophomore, he played varsity in all 3 sports. That doesn't happen very often nowadays. Most kids specialize in one sport, but Logan is that type of athlete where he can play pretty much anything he sets his mind to. Mentally tough. You know, he talked a little bit about the beginning of our season. Logan is one of the most mentally tough kids that I've had on my team. We started 0-6 and did not score a goal in the first 6 games. And he was a starter on last year's team that won our first district championship. And it was very hard for him, very hard for me, the way we started the season. We did play 5 state-ranked teams in the first 6 games, but Logan hung in there, and he hung in there with me, and it made a big difference at the end of the season. I'm very proud of him for that. I'm going to leave with a quote from Anson Dorrance that pretty much sums up Logan. The vision of a champion is someone bent over, drenched in sweat, at the point of exhaustion when no one else is watching. That describes Logan best because, like I said, you can find him anywhere. He'll be on his own practicing, making himself better, and congratulations, Logan.
Our next presenter is in his 4th year, just finished his 4th year with the Fredericktown Black Cats. Please welcome to the podium, Coach Brandon Hale.
I have the distinct privilege of introducing to you today Garrett Burns. He's the son of Heather and Greg Burns. I can tell you that 4 years ago when I first started coaching, I walked into a very crowded room of young men, and I walked in and they looked at me and I looked at them, and I think they were just as nervous as I was to them. During that time, one individual really stood out. Garrett, from the very beginning of my coaching career, came up and he said, "Coach, hey, I mean, anything that I can do to help out, I'd be glad to do it." And regardless of what was going on in a game, ups, downs, it didn't matter. Garrett kept a positive morale. He was a very, very good influence on our younger players. Always in the game, Garrett he'd be out on the field. He would be up in St. Louis practicing. It didn't matter what Garrett was or where he was thinking about soccer. That mentality rubs off on other players. I can't attest to enough that, and I know Rusty spoke of Logan up here as being humble. Garrett as well is extremely humble. I know just standing up here, Garrett probably is, yeah, definitely. But, you know, once that first season took off, Garrett kind of worked in the backgrounds with some of the older athletes, and as they graduated and Garrett matured, he really came to light. And when he burst onto the scene, he never looked back. Last season, he set a school record on most goals scored in a single season, which was 28. This season, had he not had a preseason injury, I'm sure he would have beat that record. He was shy of it by just 1 goal, scoring 27 this season. Garrett was named to the All-District team, the All-State team, the J-98 Dream team, all honors that definitely he earned. Garrett, both on and off the field, shows a character that you don't find in many people his age. I do a lot of computer work for the school, and I have the pleasure to be in the buildings with the students, so I get to see them interact with each other. And walking down the hallways, Garrett is the type of individual that somebody gets a book knocked out of their hand, he's there to help pick it up. And I don't see that very often this day and age. I've spoken with Garrett many times throughout the years and what his interests were and what he planned on doing after high school. Garrett has several offers from several different colleges. I don't think he's ready to announce just which one he's decided upon yet. I'm sure whichever one he chooses, we'll be very lucky to have him. What I want to leave you with is not so much stats. His career goals are 64 for his varsity career, 24 assists, pretty amazing. What I want to leave you with, though, is character. Garrett is the type of athlete that no matter, like I said, what's going on in a game, Garrett's morale and his character are so positive that I have not coached another athlete like that before. So without further ado, Garrett Burns.
Our next presenter was unable to attend today. It was to be Hillsborough coach Chris Schott, but I believe we have his assistant in place, Clancy Moore. Please welcome Clancy Moore to the podium.
Thanks to the radio station and Mineral Area for putting on this great event. I'd like to introduce Mr. Matt Maxwell. Matt has been a 3-year starter for us at Hillsborough, leader on and off the field without a doubt. Some of his honors include all-tournament team at the Pacific Tournament and Hillsborough Tournament, first team all-conference, first team all-district, first team all-region, honorable mention all-state. This year he had 25 goals, 3 assists. That ranks him second in school history for a single season. For a career, he ended up with 40 goals, put him third all-time in our school history. And with that 40 goals, a lot of that, he could have had more. We played him where we needed to play him, and there were times where he had to play him in the back some, he had to play in the midfield some, played up top, just did whatever was asked of him at the time, and it says so much to his character that he was able to just accept that and do whatever it took for us to give us the best chance to be successful. In the classroom, on a 4.0 scale, Matt has a 3.3 GPA. He is planning on going to Missouri University Science and Technology in Rolla, and hopefully to continue his soccer career. I think one of the things that says a lot about an athlete is the way they play in the postseason, and Matt had definitely had his highlights in postseason play. Prior to Matt being on the soccer team, our program at Hillsborough had never played in a district championship game. In the last 3 years, we have made it to the district championship game 3 years in a row with him in the starting lineup. We won his sophomore year, we won the district title, and this past season played in what I may consider one of the best soccer games I've ever been a part of. Just ask Coach Van Dyke from Windsor, he'll tell you it was the greatest because he won, but it was just phenomenal. Matt got in the district tournament in 2 games, he scored 7 goals. In the championship game, he got us on the scoreboard early. Windsor came back, put 4 tallies on us. We were down 4-1 with 30 minutes to go in a game where if you lose, you go home. And Matt being one of our team captains, but you know, a great athlete, you know, sometimes will get frustrated what's going on because he wants people to play at his level. And Matt was like that, but he was frustrated in such a great way. He never downed anybody. He'd come to Coach or I and say, you know, this is what I think we need to do, and always did it in such a respectful way and just led by example, and he did that in that game. With 30 minutes to go, down 3 goals, he gets one, we get back to 4-2. And Matt just kept playing hard and just led the team, put him on his shoulders. We ended up tying the game 4-4 with about 5 minutes to go in regulation. We go to overtime. We pick up, one of our players picks up a second yellow. We got to play a man short for 7-8 minutes in the overtime. Matt missed one by about half an inch, I think, on the outside post. Windsor hits the post. Just a phenomenal game. We ended up losing in penalty kicks. And it was just one of those games that Matt took him on his shoulder. I mean, he took everybody on his shoulder and just led the way. Didn't have to yell or scream, but just led by example, pushed people when they needed to be pushed. And it was something I will never forget. I wish we would have been on the correct end on the last part, but for a last game, it'll be something I know he'll never forget. I'll never forget either. So hope all the success to Matt. Hopefully he continues with a great college career, and I think he will. Matt Maxwell.
Our next presenter was also unable to attend today for the North County Raiders, but he too sent an assistant to speak in his place. Please welcome North County Assistant Coach Bob Bartolone.
How you all doing? It's a great afternoon. I'm glad to be here. I'm honored to be here because what it represents is these players have been recognized by other coaches for being some of the best in the area. And in this, I have Levi Spray, who's with us today. And there's a lot of things you can say about Levi, and I just try to summarize it. Fast feet, nifty moves, led the team the last 2 years in scoring points. And finally, I could never understand it. He'd get 2 or 3 guys on him, and he'd come away with the ball, and I go, how do you do that? But he was able to do it. He's a leader on the field and off the field, and this is just one of the many awards that he may be getting in the future. He's still got 2 more years of high school to go, and it looks like he's going to be able to play in college. And I'm just glad and honored to have him on my soccer team, Levi Spray.
Next up, we have a coach who just led his team to its first ever district title in boys soccer this year. Please welcome Jerry Fulton from Perryville.
Hello, and I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I also like to thank the radio station for all they do for our coaches and players. Also would like to congratulate all the players sitting behind me, all the coaches sitting out here, and all the parents that got their players and children here. It's quite an achievement. For these 2 players that I'm about to talk about, you have to talk about wanting to love the game and the sport that you play. And these 2 guys made a conscious decision in that at their 8th grade, 9th grade level. They switched schools to come to Perryville to be able to play the sport they loved. And I always say that when a child makes that conscious decision to play a sport that they love, it makes our job a lot easier. And these guys surely proved that. Both, like I said, both switching schools. They were leaders on the team. They were both captains this year. Like I said, they led our team to the first district championship in school history. I think that they both had the right to choose where they wanted to play, and I think that's a great thing considering 5 years ago boys in Perryville did not have that choice. So, you know, after we won our district championship, I looked at both of them and I asked them if it was worth it and would they make the same decision again, and without hesitation they both answered yes. So the first person I'd like to talk about is to my left here. This is Karsten Lohman. Carson is the son of Jerry and Jean Gerstenberger. Carson came to us as a sophomore, which means he had to play JV his first year. I don't know if it killed him more or me more that he played JV his first year, because I kept telling Coach Spinner, don't get used to him because you won't have him again next year. He was definitely good enough to play varsity his first year. Unfortunately, by switching schools at that time, he had to play JV his first year. But in the next 2 years, Carson became the sweeper on our team, led the team in blocks in the 2 years that he had 87 blocks, 3 goals, and 3 assists. This year, he led the team to 12 shutout games. It's going to be hard to replace Carson at sweeper. Sweeper, is probably one of the most demanding and thankless jobs on a soccer team. There's no stats to be recorded. You don't get the game-winning goal. Nobody remembers that, hey, you shut down their best player. But Karsten did it without hesitation all season long and never once asked for anything in return, even though I think the things came to him. Carson's achievements this year was he got the team award for All Defensive Player of the Year. He was first team all conference, first team all district, first team all region, the defensive player of the year all region, and honorable state for all state. I'd like to present Karsten Lohman. The next gentleman on my right is Austin Roth. Austin is the son of Paul and Mary Roth of Perryville. Austin made his decision as an 8th grader and came over as a freshman. He played a little JV his first year, probably more JV than varsity the first year, but he did play a little bit of varsity along. But then he moved quickly to varsity in his second season and played varsity from there on out. His stats for this season was 17 goals and 9 assists, which made him our leading scorer for the season. In his career, he had 25 goals at the varsity level with 18 assists. Austin was very important to our team this year. As we found out late in the season, with 3 games left in the season, Austin went down with what we thought was going to be a game-ending or a season-ending injury. Thank God it wasn't. He kept telling us, Coach, I'll be back for districts. I'll be back for districts. We were skeptical, very skeptical. But he never lost faith that he was going to make it back. And thank God he did, because after that, he led our team to their first district title. Some of Austin's awards were, he was our offensive player of the year for the team. He was our first team all conference, first team all district, first team all region, and he was the first player from Perryville High School to ever become a first team all state. Austin Roth. And in closing, I would just like to thank Austin and Karsten for the decision they made and the time that we got to spend together, and wish them both success in the future. I know whatever college ends up with these 2 boys will be a better place for it. But I know that they will be successful because of who they are and how they work, and that they work to be the best they can be. Congratulations, and thanks to everyone again.
Our next presenter was to be our reigning Coach of the Year, Dan Bilkern from St. Pius, unable to attend today, but speaking in his place is softball coach and athletic director at St. Pius, Kevin Halley from the Lancers.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Ryan, for putting on this event this evening. I'm honored to be here to talk a little bit about Jordan. I haven't had the pleasure of directly coaching Jordan, but I've had him in class, and I've been around the soccer program. I am a member or a alumni of the St. Pius soccer program, and I got to play, when I was in high school, I got to play with probably who was the greatest soccer player in school history, Mike Tranchilla. Jordan ranks right up there with him in the things that he can do on the field. Jordan finished with his career with 71 goals and 51 assists, which puts him second all-time in school history for points. Jordan was a two-time first-team All-District member, two-time All-Region member for the Southeast region, including last year, where he was the Offensive Player of the Year. He was a two-time All-Conference player, including being Conference MVP this season. He's a two-time, this is his second time being voted to the Dream Team. He led the team to multiple district championships and one Final Four appearance. And he's been a team captain. Probably the best story that I have about Jordan, and I got to see it this year, was being as someone who normally plays up top and is very offensive in his skills. The one thing that Jordan did that was very selfless this year is during the sectional game against Bayless, who had several players that scored 40-plus goals. Jordan was tasked with moving back into the midfield or the defense and marking their best player and trying to mark him out of the game. And that was probably, I'll say that was probably in 4 years, that's the best game that I had seen Jordan play, and he wasn't even doing the thing that he was probably known for. So I'm very proud to have been here to honor Jordan, and when he goes off to Mizzou to study business next year, he'll be very good at what he does as he moves on. So I thank him for letting me do this, and I wish him the best of luck, and Jordan Tucker.
Our next soccer coach was also unable to attend today, unless George Van Dyke has snuck in recently. No? In that case, I will be the one presenting on the behalf of Mr. Crater, Zach Crater, from the Windsor Owls soccer team. And for Zach, he was a senior this year on a Windsor team that not only won their district, but had an upset win over the Perryville Pirates in the sectional round as well. It was a magical season for the Windsor Owls this year. He had 22 goals, Zach did. 22 goals, 4 of those were game-winning goals, 56 points, 59 career goals at Windsor, 20 career assists, 138 total points. Is the all-time leading goal scorer and all-time leader in total points in school history. He was a team captain, played 3 years of varsity soccer, 1 year of track, 3 years of baseball, also an all-state selection this year from the Windsor Owls. Please give a big round of applause for Zach Crater. And with that, it's time to announce our player of the year. And again, it was an all-stater in Class 2 with 22 goals and 4 game winners. It was Zach Crater of the Windsor Owls. Zach's plaque will be mailed to him. Our coach of the year this year, Jerry Fulton from the Perryville Pirates.
Well, thank you. That's quite an honor. I didn't expect that. Really, this award should go to my players. We started 6 sophomores all year on our varsity squad. So for these 2 young men sitting behind me, they made a conscious decision to go to those sophomores and make them a part of the team and to nurture that and to bring these guys along. And believe me, when you have to play teams like Windsor and Pius and Farmington, who all have good coaches and good players, it's hard to come out of our district. And these guys told me on the first day of practice last season that, Coach, we're going to win districts this year. I was like, okay, we're a 5-year-old program. You never give up your faith, and you always keep working hard, and you can achieve anything. Well, they did. They went out, they got the #1 seed, and they came back and won districts. You know, our first game in districts was against Rusty's team, Farmington. Great game, probably one of the best games I saw all year. It was a 1-0 game. Knew that we were not going to get through that easy. Come back and got Cape Central in the championship game, 5-year program, winning the first districts. How we lost to Windsor is still beyond us. We outshot Windsor 31-5. In the sectional game, had the ball on the goal line 3 times. All it had to do was row 10 inches and we win. we lose in the second round of penalty kicks. It was pretty heartbreaking for our team, but you know, I think the guys have learned from it. They're definitely smarter and going to be better next year for it. We have some big shoes to fill, but I believe our young players are ready to come up and try to do that. Thank everyone for this. Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for the boys soccer dream team, 2012. We're going to need to keep that energy going. We're not even at halftime yet. Let's move on to our softball dream team. Our first presenter there is Matt Bradley. He led the Lady Rebels to their first district title this year, along with a conference title and an 18-win season. Please welcome Matt Bradley to the podium.
First, I'd like to thank KTJJ for this wonderful ceremony, and congratulations to all of the Dream Team athletes that are behind me right now. It's a great honor. It's my honor to introduce our representative from the Central High School softball team, Miss Georgia Richardson. Georgia is the daughter of Ernie and Margie Richardson, and I couldn't be more proud of Georgia. I could go through all her numbers, and I'll give you some. She led us in hitting. She had 471 this year. She had 40 hits. But more than that, Georgia means a lot to me personally and to our softball team. Georgia, for as great a softball player as she is, and she's a fantastic softball player, is an even better person. She is always smiling. She is the first kid to go pick up a teammate when they've messed up, they've made an error, they've struck out, they've done something that they didn't want to do, and Georgia's the first one there to pick that kid up. She's a fantastic leader. She is a great student, just a great person. And I couldn't ask for a much better softball player either. Georgia's a two-time all-conference softball player. She's a two-time all-district softball player. This year she made the all-region team in softball. And the best thing is I've got her back for one more year. So it's my honor to introduce Georgia Richardson.
Softball, great in our area again this year, usually is. Our next presenter led her team to a 15-win season. Please welcome DeSoto coach Danielle Thompson.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for honoring Bethany Canada. She's a sophomore at DeSoto High School. She's the daughter of Rob and Amy Canada. She also plays varsity basketball, and she plays for the St. Louis Spring 97 softball team during the summertime. Her resume includes all conference, all district, all region, all state, and dream team honors this year and last year as only a freshman. She also has received the honor of making the all-academic team with a 4.0 GPA and had a stellar fall semester to follow that up. So she's ranked #1 in her class. I'm trying to talk her into taking my class next year, but I haven't been very successful yet, but I'm still working on that. And she was also voted Student of the Month this past semester by our teaching staff. Canada is well known for a big bat that she swings with an impressive batting average and a superior slugging percentage. She also possesses not only power, but surprisingly, she has a lot of speed. She led her team in stolen bases while holding down the cleanup spot in our batting order this season. She's a vital member of our defense. She plays multiple positions on the infield while splitting time in the circle. She's diligent and hardworking. She knows you get out of something what you put into it. She's not the type of player to take the easy way out, and she's competitive, not willing to give up. You'll find her with ribbons in her hair, but at the same time, she takes pride in how much dirt she comes off the field, or how much she has on her uniform when she comes off that field. We are most proud of Bethany because she has shown tremendous courage, leadership, and the ability to overcome adversity this season. And I'd like to share one memory that I have when I think of Canada. It'd be the district game against Festus. It was a nightcap. Hits were going out quick, and she was 0-2, first and second. I don't know how many outs. It might have been 2 outs. And I'm just thinking, put the bat on the ball, you know, give us a chance. And it went out over the right field fence. I mean, I think I got a neck cramp. It was out in a hurry. I thought it was going to the second baseman could have grabbed it. That's how low, and it skimmed that fence, and she had a 3-run home run and brought us back into the game. Unfortunately, we didn't win that game, but as you know, Festus went on to represent Jefferson County. But she understands that it's just not offensive and defensive stats, but also being coachable, as well as a team player that makes the complete package. And not only do I get to have her for 2 more years, but she'll have another 4 years after DeSoto High School. We couldn't ask for a better role model to be the face of DeSoto Dragon softball program, and I'd like to introduce you Bethany Canada. Thank you, Daniela.
Our next presenter was a Coach of the Year for our Dream Team ceremony back in 2010. Coach Thompson talked about it, led his team to a district championship this year where they finished 4th in state after making a run in the state playoffs. Jeff Montgomery from Festus.
Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate that. You know, I'm very excited to have 3 players here from Festus High School that were a big part of our season this year, helped lead us to state. Our first player is Molly Carter, senior pitcher. Molly is the daughter of Jerry and Michelle Carter of Festus. This is Molly's 3rd year on the Dream Team. Very proud of that fact. And this year she struck out 204 batters, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, I'm thinking about in years to come how I'm going to get 200 outs beyond this season. She struck out 703 in her career. She broke a lot of our school records as a pitcher. She batted .388 this year, drove in 24 runs, had 3 home runs. She was Player of the Year in the conference. She was all-conference, all-district, second-team all-state. She also was all-metro, and she's going to take her talents to St. Gregory's University in Shawnee, Oklahoma, which is an NEIA school. It's had a lot of success, a good program. I'm very proud of the contributions of Molly. At Festus High School, she showed a lot of grit, determination the last 4 years. She really took this team on her back this year. To get us to state, it was a conscientious effort on her part to lead this team, and I have so many great memories of Molly the last 4 years. Such a wonderful player in our program, and really a face of our program in so many ways. Molly Carter, Festus High School. Our next player is a junior, Cheyenne Pratt, here in the middle, from Festus High School. Cheyenne is the daughter of Daryl and Vicki Pratt of Festus. Cheyenne batted .553 this year. She led the conference with 63 hits. She had 63 hits this year, which is our school record as well. She was also first-team All-State in Class 3, the first All-State first-teamer we've had since 1999. She was also All-Conference, first-team, All-District, All-Region, and I'm very pleased and glad that she's recognized this year with the Dream Team. She's our leadoff hitter, and her speed is her asset. She had 0 errors this year in the outfield. She had 20 stolen bases, and she can do a lot of things for your team when she gets on base. We were very strong up the middle with Molly pitching and Cheyenne in center and Lauren Todd catching. You know, those are the signs of a quality team. Her ability to get on base and steal bases put us in positions to win. And Cheyenne ranks 3rd out of 217 students in her junior class. She brings that hard work and dedication to softball. If Cheyenne doesn't reach base in her first at-bat, this kid is sitting in the dugout trying to figure out how she's going to get on her next at-bat. She does a great job of studying defenses, watching pitchers, and just does an outstanding job. And I'm glad I got her 1 more season. She is going to go to the University of Iowa and play softball. She's made a verbal commitment there to be a player in that program, a Division I program in the Big Ten Conference. And she's going to get a chance to fulfill her dream of playing softball at the D1 level. I'm just glad I got this kid 1 more year. Ladies and gentlemen, Cheyenne Pratt. And our 3rd player up here, and you know, we had a lot of really great players this year, had great seasons, and again, last but not least, Lauren Todd, a sophomore from Festus High School. Lauren's the daughter of Tracy and Kim Todd of Festus. This year she played 3rd base most of the season. We had a kid that was catching that did a great job, Missy DeRoos, suffered an injury, and it allowed us to put Lauren back at catcher, which is really her best position. And she led the JCC this year in batting average, batting .609 with 42 RBIs. And she quickly became our number 3 hitter. Noticed that about our 2nd week of the season, that this is a kid we needed the number 3 spot. She has the ability to drive in runs. And she started on the varsity last year, but I think this was really her coming out this season as a player. Her offensive numbers this year were key to winning a lot of games. We went up to the quarterfinal game, and you know our kids were pretty nervous. It's the game you're playing to go to state, and you know here's a sophomore kid who all she does is go 4 for 4. Drove in the first 2 runs of the ball game and just really settled in the whole game. Did a great job catching, handling Molly, and really allowed us to take a deep breath and relax and play. And she was a big part of that win. Her ability to wait on a good pitch is something she's really worked on and done a better job with. A lot of good hitters have to be patient. If you're not, it's pretty easy to get yourself out. And you know, she did a great job of that this year. She was also first team All-Conference, and she was also STL Today's second team All-Metro. And with a lot of hard work and continued success, this kid's got a great future. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Todd. I'd like to congratulate my players and the 10 softball players. I know the Dream Team went to 10 this year instead of 5, and I appreciate that. I know all the softball coaches do. Softball has really become a big sport in the area, and there's a lot of good teams, a lot of good coaches, and just really proud to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Our next coach and presenter has the distinct pleasure of presenting the first ever Dream Teamer at his high school. Please welcome Robert Hunley from Jefferson, R7.
First of all, I'd just like to say I am honored to be a coach in this region. The level of dedication that the students show, the student athletes show, and the level of dedication that the coaches show is really not matched by anywhere else in the state. I've coached in many other areas of the state, and it's really pretty impressive. So I'd like to have everybody give each other a round of applause. Now to this one to the left of me. When we first started this program, we had a tough time. We didn't even know if we were going to have a softball team 4 years ago. This one next to me, she was our pitcher all 4 years, and I think it was our 4th game of the season, she threw a no-hitter, and we lost the game. Now, to any pitcher, throwing a no-hitter and losing the game, that's a pretty tough thing to go through. But after we picked up our first district championship this year, I looked at her and I said, "Do you remember that no-hitter you threw and we ended up losing?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she actually ended up looking at me and said, "Coach, you knew we were going to win a district in 4 years, right?" And I said, "I'm glad you knew that, because I didn't." She's a very tough player. The next game in sectionals, I remember, I think it was the 6th inning, she ended up getting hit with a line drive to make the last out. It went off her forearm, and it bounced up to our shortstop, and the shortstop caught it on a line drive. I went out to go check to see if she was okay. Actually, she came to the dugout. I went to go check to see if she was okay, and she had a welt on her arm that was about the size of a softball sticking out of her forearm. I said, "Sierra, you want to come out of the game? Are you okay?" She looked at me like, if you take me out of this game, I'm going to come after you. She ended up going out there and striking out the next 3. Basically, what I have to say about Sierra is Sierra Brown has and will be one of the most talented, hardworking, and toughest players I have or will ever coach. Her commitment on the field and off the field is something to be admired. In addition to playing softball, she was also in many organizations showing herself to be a role model within the school as well as on the softball field. In 4 short years, she has helped build a program at Jefferson that is something to be proud of. Her commitment to her teammates has always been absolute, never saying no to giving a younger player a ride to practice or helping them with a specific skill set. Her toughness as a player was demonstrated multiple times as she would play through aches and pains and never complain. I am very proud to say that I was her coach, and I'm sure that she will prosper on her new team at Lindenwood Belleville next year. Sierra Brown.
Rolling right along in softball, our next presenter was our Coach of the Year back in 2008. Please welcome Steve Elam from the North County Lady Raiders.
I'd like to say thank you to the radio station, and I'd really like to say thank you to Cliff and Peggy Robinson, the parents of Emily Robinson. They made sure that she, when she was younger, and she's been on the varsity all 3 years, that she got to practice, made sure she was everywhere she needed to be, and it's a big contribution for them to our softball program. So I'd like to say thank you to them to start out. Next thing is Emily Robinson. She's a junior this year. Emily had an outstanding season. Emily did get hurt during the middle of the season, injured her back. She fought through that. I figured out real quick, Emily is not very flexible. Stretching Emily out before the games and stuff, Emily is not very flexible. So that's something that maybe we can work on in the future, because I do get her back next year. Some of Emily's accomplishments. Emily batted .471 this year, 19 runs scored, 19 RBIs. She had 6 home runs, 10 doubles, and 2 triples. I think one of Emily's biggest accomplishments this year, Emily struck out twice all year. That's a pretty big accomplishment with who we play. I mean, you've heard everybody come up here. We pretty much play everybody that has come up here with those kind of players. I also like Emily as a leader on and off the field. This is somebody who, even during batting practice, seems to dive after balls, even when you don't want her to. Like, Emily, slow down a little bit. I don't know if she knows what that means. So I'd like to give to you Emily Robinson.
This will be our second time up here for our next presenter. Hope you didn't get tired of him the first time. St. Pius coach Kevin Halley.
Thanks again, Glenn. There's a lot that can be said about Holly. I can start off with very simply that as she was a softball player in 6th grade coming to our camps, we started chomping at the bit, wondering how we can get her to skip 7th and 8th grade. It didn't work out so well. We just had to wait 2 years, and it was well worth the wait. Holly's been a captain for 3 years. Holly's been led the resurrection of the St. Pius program. St. Pius is a long softball tradition dating back to the mid-'80s, and for years we were down a little bit. Holly comes in her freshman year, and with some of her classmates has led our program to 4 straight district championship game appearances, our first district title in 10 years last season, and this past season led us to our program's first conference championship, where we were able to split it with a great Festus team. So just out of those accolades there, that should be enough, but there's a lot more. Holly holds many school records, just off the top of my head, including RBIs in a career for 155 and RBIs in a season with 43 twice, 146 hits for a career, and then almost every single pitching record, 50 wins, 501 strikeouts, 487 innings pitched, 74 complete games, 11 shutouts, and 4 saves, just to name some of them. Ever since she started her freshman year, she's been our workhorse and has thrown practically every inning since the beginning of her freshman year. She's a 4-time all-district member, 4-time all-region member, 2-time all-state, once in Class 2 and once in Class 3 this year when we got pushed up. Spoke a lot to Holly's ability and the name she was able to make for herself when we did not even get a chance to, when we didn't even advance out of district and she was named to the all-state team. She was named to the NFCA, the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association all-region team last year. That includes the states of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Kentucky. And she's an NFCA Academic All-American, will be 4 times at the end of this year, and a Missouri Fast Pitch Coaches Association Academic All-State member for 4 times at the end of this year. When she goes on to McKendree next year to play softball, the Bearcats are going to be getting not just a tremendous softball player, a tremendous pitcher, but probably one of the best teammates I have ever had the pleasure of coaching. Being a pitcher, you always want that, and any softball coach or even baseball coach in this room will tell you that you want that pitcher that's going to be stoic and not show a whole lot of emotion and get too high or too low. And this is exactly the case. Something may be going wrong on the field. I'll go out to the mound to visit, and Holly will look at me like, "Why are you out here?" Turn around and go back. So I am extremely proud to the fact that I've been able to coach this young lady for 4 years. Was still kind of hoping at some point we might end up like some other coaches with that fifth-year senior thing, but that didn't work out either. And I'm going to be watching very closely as she moves on to her college career and watch the success that she has at the Division II level. So thank you very much, Holly Magre.
It was a nice season for the St. Genevieve Hunters this year. 15 wins and an MAAA conference title. They were led by Dennis Kreitler this year. Please welcome Dennis to the stage.
First of all, I want to thank Glenn and KTJJ for organizing this ceremony for all these student athletes today and for covering high school sports. The player I'm here to represent is senior Erica Burney. She's the daughter of Cecil and Lucretia Burney and catcher of the St. Genevieve Hunters. Erica came to us in our 8th grade year. She transferred from Mobile, Alabama, so where they breathe and eat and sleep softball, and I guess it's proper, Erica, for any family members watching and listening to say Roll Tide. I remember the first day of practice when Erica came up to take her first cuts in batting practice. She hit the ball really far, and it amazed us coaches and players that we were just staring there watching a freshman hit the ball so far. It was almost like watching a firework display. And it was also kind of funny to see the rest of the teammates shagging the balls. That they were just trying to dodge them and get out of the way, hoping that they wouldn't get hit. By then, we knew we had a great player for our team to have success, and she didn't really disappoint us either. At her 4 years at St. Gen, Erica had a batting average of .503. She drove in 96 runs, hit 16 home runs, and had 117 hits, with over 55% of those hits being extra bases. She had an average of .636 on base percentage and only struck out 7 times in 4 years. Along with that, she caught extremely well. With Erica behind the plate, pass balls were rare, and teams running against us were very limited. Erica was voted St. Gen Most Valuable Player by her softball teammates for 3 out of the 4 years, and was nominated Defensive Player and Best Offensive Player for our team for 2 years in a row. She has set the St. Gen softball on-base percentage with an amazing .822% in 2011. Erica has been selected all-conference and all-district for all 4 years, and she's also participated in track 2 years and has played for the St. Louis Spirit, St. Louis Metro, Stars and Strikes fast-pitch softball teams for 4 years, competing in state and national tournaments. As a student, Erica has a 10.2 grade average on the 11-point grading scale. She's involved in FFA, National Honor Society, Student Council, FCA, and SAD at St. Genevieve High School. As a coach, she's the type of player Coach dreams about having. Her work ethic, improving her softball skills has been tiresome for us coaches and players at St. Gen, but a true testament on how she loves to compete and stay on top of her game. Her work ethic in the off-season and practices has made a huge impression for the younger girls at St. Gen for what they need to do to be a successful softball player. As a good teammate, I've seen Erica work with younger players on techniques and pass along advice when asked or needed. She's always helped me in softball camps that I've organized in St. Gen, and for this I sincerely thank you for being that type of player in person. In closing, Erica is a well-rounded young lady who works hard and plays hard. I'm glad to have the pleasure of not only being her coach, but getting to know her as a person too. I have no doubt that Erica will do very well at the collegiate level. Again, I present Miss Erica Burney.
Our next presenter is the head coach of the Windsor Lady Owls, led them to a 15-win season this year. Please welcome Wayne Montgomery from Windsor.
First of all, I want to thank J-98, all the coaches that voted for Kristen, as well as I want to thank her parents, Quentin and Elizabeth Smutzler, for molding Kristen into the great student athlete that she is. When Kristen came up last year as a freshman, we had a game against St. Clair. We were down 7-5, and we just had a terrible inning on defense. And the year before, we had a lot of struggling on defense where we lost games we probably should have won. And I was like, oh, not again. And Kristen came up with the bases loaded that next inning, and it was 7-5. She hits a bomb, grand slam home run to give us the lead, 9-7. And ever since then, we've been a winning softball program, and it kind of turned the tide for us. And ever since then, she's really been coming up big for us in clutch situations. I couldn't tell you of a kid that's more clutch than she is. We've had several games this year against Pacific and R7 that we were in situations where we didn't look like we were going to win the game, but she pulled it out with a big hit for us. Kristen's also, too, one of those young ladies that when you're coaching third base, you kind of wish you had a helmet on because she hits bullets. She hits line drives all the time, or a glove to defend yourself. But she manned shortstop for us this year. She also caught a little bit and probably could be one of the better catchers in the county if I let her be. But we need her defense at shortstop, and she did a great job for us there. Kristen batted .493 on the season for us. She hit 5 doubles, 3 triples, 6 home runs. She had 46 RBIs. She was ranked in the top 5 in the St. Louis area in RBIs. She would probably steal more bases, but she hits a lot of home runs and triples, so she's not on first base too often. She was first team all-conference. She was all-district. She was player of the week 1 week this year in Post-Dispatch as well as last year. She's also a 3-sport athlete that excels in track and basketball. One great thing about Kristen is she's not only a great athlete, but she's a great student as well. She's vice president of student council. She has a GPA of 4.48. She's ranked 8 out of 238 students, and she's a great student as well. But it's my pleasure to give this award to Kristen Smutzler.
Wayne Montgomery and Jeff Montgomery are brothers. They coach the same sport in the same conference. Makes me wonder what the holidays are like at that house, arguing over which team's better. It's time to announce our player of the year in softball. This year's recipient was a pitcher for her team, a 21-3 record, 165 innings pitched, 69 runs allowed, a 2.42 ERA, and 204 strikeouts. Molly Carter from Festus. This year's Coach of the Year, this is the second time in 3 years for this person, led the Festus Lady Tigers to the state Final Four. Jeff Montgomery, also from Festus.
Well, thank you very much. Molly, congratulations on the Player of the Year award. This team this year was just, a lot of great memories. They came ready to play every day. I know we went to our quarterfinal game. I told them to be at the field and hit at 9:30. I think they were there at 8:30 that morning, ready to go. And just a snapshot of what our team was like this year. And I'd like to accept this award on behalf of our assistant coaches as well, Todd Gurno and Tim Kreisel, do a lot of work and with our program, and the 17 kids that made up our varsity this year, and just a great experience, and thank you very much.
Get really loud one more time for the softball dream team this year. Moving over to volleyball, 10 athletes were represented or are represented on this year's volleyball dream team. And our first presenter is a 3-time Coach of the Year, had a 19-win season this year, was second in her conference, Paula Abushan from Bismarck.
Good afternoon. Again, I want to sound like a broken record, but I want to thank J-98 for all the coverage they give our kids and our school programs. It's really a neat thing. I know it's unique to this area. I'm here tonight to introduce Darcy Latham. Darcy is a junior at Bismarck High School. Her parents are Marshall and Beth Latham, and she forced her little brother to come with her tonight, so I'm sure he's thrilled to be here. But he does come to a lot of her games, and they're very supportive families, so I want to welcome him tonight too. Darcy is not only just a junior at Bismarck High School, she is a nice kid. She is the kind of kid that can sit and have a conversation with adults, and then 20 minutes later you see her in a gang of kids her own age, and she's handling herself well among her peers. She is a nice person. She's a very intelligent girl and very likable, and I like that in a kid, in a high school kid. I like to see those qualities. This is her second time to make the dream team. She made it as a sophomore. She's been all conference and all district the last 3 years. That's freshman, sophomore, junior. And she was honorable mention All-State her sophomore year. And she was second team All-State this year. And she's been academic All-State for volleyball all 3 years. She is very deserving of all of these awards. Many nights would take the court, visiting schools, come to our school, or we go away, tournaments, whatever. Darcy, just sitting and summing up the kids on the court, Darcy is many nights the most athletic kid on the court. She excels at basketball. She's a very, very good basketball player. Her passion is volleyball, thank goodness for me. But she, you could take her on in ping pong, hopscotch. She's very competitive. She's always going to want to win, and she's always going to try to outthink you. And I really like that about her. She's the kid on the court with all the marbles as well. She is academically first in her class, 4.0. At least she was at the time, and we've had a long break, so I'm sure she still is. Darcy is on pace right now to graduate from Mineral Area College and Bismarck High School in May of 2014. She is taking classes at both places. So that impresses me a great deal, that she's able to do that. She plays on our high school basketball team, excels at that. And she also plays club volleyball. I think this is her third year to play club volleyball. No, fourth year to play club volleyball. She's on an elite team out of St. Louis this year. She was on an elite team out of Cape last year. And I know that takes a tremendous amount of juggling and scheduling and tremendous support from her parents. So she's got all the things in place to accomplish that. As I was sitting in the stands looking out at the athletes, I know a lot of the girls that play volleyball are also doing the same thing. So I know it takes a lot of effort and scheduling for them and their parents to keep themselves at the top of their class and competing at a high level at at least two sports. So I want to notice that about Darcy. She's very, very motivated to do those kinds of things, always pushing herself farther. Her plans after graduation from MAC and from Bismarck are to attend Missouri University at Rolla, School of Science and Technology. She's going to study engineering of some sort, she tells me, and it didn't stick. I'm not sure which engineering she's going to be majoring in. But she is planning on trying to make the volleyball team. They were working on that. We should know more in a month or two. And she's very capable of playing volleyball at Rolla. She's very capable of handling her workload there. She's already got the path, lined out. She's going to make it. She's a very, very motivated young girl. I just want to say I'm very, very proud of Darcy. Kids like her make me look good. I'm not fooling anybody. I'm not the kind of coach that can say, I did all this for her. I'm not that kind of person. She makes me look good, and her work ethic has just speaks volumes for what she's accomplished, and she's just a junior. Thanks to her parents and her for helping achieve her dreams, and ladies and gentlemen, Darcy Latham.
Our next presenter, Farmington Knightet coach Jenny Bowling. Now, she wasn't here when we checked in. Did Jenny Bowling ever arrive today? That's okay. I will speak on behalf of Jenny Bowling, and I'll be talking about her Dream Team athlete, Rachel Williams. Rachel also unable to attend today. I understand she was playing volleyball elsewhere, so kind of why she made the dream team, her commitment to the sport. Rachel William had a .307 hitting percentage, .307, 46% in kills percentage, and 289 kills in her senior season with the Farmington Knights. Now, Farmington would win the district championship led by Rachel this year, and they would go on to the sectional round. 77 blocks. She averaged 1 block per set with 205 digs and 2.7 digs per set as well, with 13 assists and a 251 serve receive. She's made all-tournament team in Branson, Edwardsville, Farmington, Poplar Bluff, and Licking Camp as well. She's a first-team all-conference selection and all-district and all-region selection for 4 years. An honorable mention all-state member for 4 years, all 4 years of her high school career. A second-teamer for all-state in 2011 and again this year. Member of FCCLA, Stuco, GOSC, and HSC, a GPA of 3.2 and a class rank of 56. She does it in the classroom as well. A big round of applause for Rachel Williams of Farmington. Our next presenter also unable to attend today. The presenter unable to attend, but the athlete was Amira Bethune. If you wouldn't mind coming up here, Coach Middleton wanted me to say a few words about her. Coach Middleton had prepared a statement for me to read on her behalf. So her dream teamer is Amira Bethune from Lesterville High School, and here's what Coach Middleton had to say. Please accept our apologies for not being able to attend the Dream Team ceremony. This year, family obligations have prevented both of us from attending. That's Coach Middleton and her assistant, Coach Freeman. Amira Bethune is a junior at Lesterville High School. She's been a 3-year varsity starter with the Lady Bearcats. Amira was all-conference, all-district, and all-state in her sophomore and junior year. She's an outstanding middle hitter. Her stats for 2012-2013 include 856 attacks, 399 kills, a 40% hitting average, and a 46% kill average. She also had 208 digs, 97 solo blocks. It's been a great pleasure watching her grow from a little girl into a volleyball powerhouse, and we're very fortunate to have her for one more year. Maybe 2013 and 14 will be a magical year for Lesterville volleyball. This is from Coach Middleton. They love you and apologize once again that they could not be there for you during this special moment. And once again, Amira Bethune from Lesterville. How about North County coach Jackie Morris?
Thank you. I'm here to represent Courtney Kekak, and I want to thank the KTJJ also, and all the parents. I want to thank Dawn and Larry Kekak for bringing Courtney to all the practices. Courtney is an outstanding player. She is only a sophomore and shines when she's on the court. Courtney is one of our top students in her class. She's already in the process of taking college classes as a sophomore. She's a dedicated player. If you know anything about her, if the gym is open at 8 o'clock, she's there at 6 and expects me to be there. She'll call me and ask me if I'm doing anything. I'm like, no, why? Let's go to the gym. So Courtney's very dedicated on and off the court as well. Delightful person to have on the court with the team. She's very good, ranked top first or second in her class. It kind of goes back and forth. Her goal is to be top, and her goal is to play at a 4-year school, hopefully Mizzou, and I think that Courtney is on the right path to do that. A very dedicated player. She averaged around 7 kills per game, already had about 300 kills just her sophomore year. So if you ever walk onto the court and you see Courtney, watch out. She'll hit you, not on purpose. She is a very hard hitter and a very consistent hitter. If I ever need a down ball or a kill, Courtney knows I'm going to go to her. She loves to win, and she's very competitive. She hates to lose, and she will give it 125% every time she's on the court. She's also plays basketball, and she's played varsity ever since she was a freshman. And again, she played varsity at basketball and will give 120% on the basketball court. She made first team all conference and first team all district, and I'm sure she's on the road to make all regional and all academic and state as well. So I wanted to represent Courtney Kekak.
Our next presenter took the Perryville Lady Pirates farther than they've ever gone before. It was a 33-win campaign and finishing 4th at state for Perryville. Please welcome their coach, David Murley.
Good afternoon. It's a great honor to get to introduce to you this afternoon Natalie Grimmaud. Natalie is the daughter of Ted and Glenda Grimmaud, and some of Natalie's accomplishments this season include Dream Team member, First Team All-District, First Team All-Conference, First Team All-Region, First Team All-State, Academic All-State, and Natalie was just recently honored as the Southeast Missourian Player of the Year, and she is also the Jefferson County Conference Player of the Year. She owns several school records. They include career kills of 1,052 kills, and most kills in a season this year, 519, which also ranks the highest maybe in the entire state of Missouri. I haven't seen anybody have that many kills yet. And she also finishes with the most career wins as a varsity starter at Perryville with 101. Natalie only started a handful of games her freshman year, so her sophomore, junior, and senior year, that's an average of 31 wins a season. Last year, Natalie also made the Dream Team, was a Dream Team member, and I challenged everybody here last year if you had an opportunity to come watch us play, because if you got the opportunity to watch Natalie play, it's really, really special, because she brings to the court an energy, enthusiasm, and passion for the game that is unparalleled to anybody I've ever seen before in my life. And when you watch her play with that passion, you can see her teammates feed off of that energy, and it raises their level of play to an extremely high level also. And Natalie was able to carry her team all the way to a school record 33 wins this season and the first Final Four in Perryville high school history. If you did come to watch her play, you got an opportunity to see that firsthand. And if you missed it, Natalie will be playing volleyball here at Mineral Area next year, so you still get that opportunity too. And one of the things that I'm going to miss the most about Natalie was not just the way that she played on the volleyball court, but the way she practiced. She brought that energy and excitement and that high level of intensity to every single practice at all the time. And you know, that's probably the one thing I'm going to miss the most about her. And 4 years ago, Natalie came to us as a freshman with these high goals and high expectations. And 4 years later, she leaves as the best volleyball player to ever play at Perryville High School. Natalie Grimmaud.
I'm going to embarrass Natalie a little bit here. She was one of 2 Dream Team interviews I've ever had where the person I interviewed actually started to cry. Both happen to be volleyball players, and I just want people to know it's not my intent to make them cry, but if they do, it is better for ratings, so, you know. Don't feel bad. Next up, this coach led his team to a 21-win season this year for the Potosi Trojans, Gary Mims from Potosi.
On behalf of Jordan and her family, I would like to thank the area coaches for voting for Jordan this prestigious honor, being a Dream Team player. Jordan's a senior at Potosi High School. She's the daughter of Raymond and Sonia Govro, the only 2 people in the world more proud of Jordan for accomplishments as a student athlete than I am. Jordan's a 3-year varsity starter, letter winner volleyball at Potosi. She was a captain of this year's team that shined both through her actions as well as through her words. As she grew more confident in her skills as a player, she became more of a vocal leader. As a junior and senior, Jordan was honored as an MAAA Large School All-Conference first-team performer. Jordan was also recognized as a first-team All-District player as a junior, second-team All-District player as a senior. Jordan has also played a number of roles on our team this year throughout her sophomore season to her senior season, but her primary area of play was out of the middle. As an undersized middle hitter and blocker at about 5'7", pushing 5'8", Jordan more than held her own against players much taller and much bigger. She worked very hard to be an extremely effective middle player. Jordan entered the season with a hitting percentage of .35, a kill percentage of 48, and she ended the season with 264 kills. She was also an area leader in total blocks with 82. She became the PHS career record holder in both kills and blocks this season. She worked very hard to become an effective jump server as well as a passer both on serve, receive, and passing defense. A well-rounded player that has definitely earned the honor of being included with the other 9 volleyball Dream Team players. Jordan also excels in the classroom. She ranks 11th out of 174 at PHS. Jordan plans to attend Miller Area College in the fall, transfer to Southeast Missouri State University in the future, and work towards a degree in wildlife biology. While at PHS, Jordan is a member of the National Honor Society, Peer Club, FCA, FBLA, and is a student ambassador. It's been a privilege and an honor to be Jordan's coach while she has been at PHS, and she will be missed not only as a student, an athlete, and a community leader, but because of the person she has become. Like all the other athletes up here, the most common theme is her dedication, her willingness to do more than is expected of her, just like all the athletes up here. And there won't be another Jordan at Potosi High School, and I'm going to miss her dearly. Thank you.
Next up is our reigning Coach of the Year in volleyball. She's had her team in the state title game for 3 straight years, winning it all last year, finishing second this year. Please welcome St. Pius coach Carrie Herman.
Hello. It's my pleasure to announce 2 players to the 2012 Dream Team this year. Our St. Pius volleyball program has been able to make school history with 3 straight appearances at the Final Four, this year finishing second. Both of these players standing up here with me have been key contributors to that success, and both were starters for all 3 of those years. I think that's just phenomenal for them to be able to experience 3 state Final Fours in their high school career, so congratulations to both of you for that. The first player I'll introduce to you tonight is on my far left, is Sammy Meyer. Sammy is a senior, daughter of Paul and Trish Meyer. Sammy is a very quiet player overall, but from day one in our program, she's displayed the work ethic and focus that's helped fuel the success of our team. She's been our starting libero for Pius since her sophomore year. I knew Sammy before she came into the program, so it was very exciting for me to see her, get that starting role and be such a dependable defensive player at such a young age. Sammy this year was also one of our 2 captains. I think she was very influential in helping pass along the good character. That's the foundation of our team and is the most important thing for me when I'm coaching. Sammy has a 4.0 GPA. She made first team All-State in 2011 and 2012. She averages 7 digs per game. She has 96% accuracy in serve receive and 95% accuracy in serving. But Sammy just has a great love for this game. She loves the game as much as I do. So it's been very special to me to be able to share that with her. And it's going to be a big adjustment for me not having her walk in the gym next year. So, but Sammy will be moving on to play for Mineral Area College, and I'm sure she'll do great things for them as well. So I present to you Sammy Meyer. My second player is Amy Held. She's also a senior. She's the daughter of Scott and Paula Held. Amy's been part of the Dream Team for the last 3 years. She is hands down the most talented player I've ever had the opportunity to coach or really ever seen. Aside from her athletic talent, she is the ideal role model for our younger players. With her focus and her heart that she brings to every practice and every match, you just wonder how they're able to bring that to day in and day out. But she's done it since day one and all the way through her 4 years. Amy was a captain for Pius for the last 2 years. She has a 4.3 GPA, and she is ranked number 1 in her class. Over the years, Amy's collected quite the resume with a lengthy list of awards and achievements, both athletically and academically. So I'll just hit a couple of highlights. She was part of the first team All-State for the last 2 years. She was first team All-District for the last 3 years. She was first team All-Conference for the last 4 years. She was our conference MVP for the last 3 years. And last year, she was Dream Team's MVP for volleyball. And she was also the Female Scholar Athlete of the Year. She was able to hit a milestone in her career with 1,111 kills. Amy is very superstitious in a lot of ways, and number 11 is her favorite number, so we found it appropriate to honor her 1,111th kill. The 1,000 mark is a big accomplishment in volleyball, so we congratulate her for hitting that mark this year. Amy has a nearly 50% kill ratio with 363 kills for the year, a 99% accuracy on serve receive. She is a phenomenal defensive player. That's what she's going on to college to be, but she's just the best hitter with amazing vertical, and she's just a hot hitter. She's very amazing to watch. Amy brings a lightheartedness. As competitive as she is, she just brings a heart to the game and a smile, and you can tell there's just a spark when she's on the court. She is moving on to play as a libero for the University of Northern Iowa, and she'll be studying exercise science. But both of these girls will truly be missed, and I present to you Amy Held.
Next up, we have a coach that's coached over 30 years at the same program. This year, a 32-win season. They did not lose a game until the sectional round of the playoffs. The game they lost was to the eventual state champion, Winona. It's Valley Catholic and their coach, Nancy Fisher.
First, on behalf of Valley Catholic, I'd like to congratulate all of the athletes and coaches who are being recognized this afternoon. And I'd also like to thank J-98 for their continued support of all the local sports teams. It's my pleasure to introduce two Valley volleyball players who have had a major impact on our program over the last 4 years, Gretchen Kohler and Katie Bader. Gretchen is the daughter of Tom and Bernie Kohler, and Katie is the daughter of Gary and Tina Bader. They have both been all-conference players multiple times, all-district players multiple times, all regional players multiple times, all state players multiple times, and academic all-state players multiple times. Both of these young ladies have started in our program since they were freshmen, and over that time they have led their team to an overall record of 111, 21, and 3. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about Gretchen. She's immediately to my left here. If she looks familiar to you, it's because she was also a Dream Teamer last year. Now, I could list a lot of Gretchen's volleyball statistics, and those statistics are quite impressive, but I don't think that would do her justice. Instead, I'll just give you a glimpse of the individual that she is. For the first 3 years of her high school career, Gretchen was an outside hitter for us. We graduated both of our middle hitters last year, so I approached Gretchen at the beginning of this season and asked her how she would feel about playing middle for us. I could tell she wasn't tickled about the prospect. Think about it. I was asking a player who had been first team All-State for 2 years as an outside hitter to learn a new position as a senior. I was asking her to move out of her comfort zone to go from playing a position she knew she could play well to something that was an uncertainty. But Gretchen's response to my question was, "Coach, I'll do whatever it takes to help the team." Gretchen worked hard, had a great attitude in practice and games, and despite her small stature, became a formidable middle hitter and blocker for us. That's Gretchen Kohler. And now for Katie. Katie has been our libero for 4 years. One of the things we always emphasize in our volleyball program is defense, and over the years, we've produced some pretty fine defensive players. Our philosophy on defense is move, then decide, which simply means that we want our players to react and begin moving quickly and then worry about whether the ball will actually stay in a playable area later. No player that I've ever coached did that better than Katie. She made some absolutely spectacular saves, both of hard-driven spikes by the other team, as well as balls that our own players had shanked. Great defensive player, absolutely. But I think it was Katie's uncanny ability to read plays and put herself in the best position, whether it was for the first hit, the second hit, or the third hit, to play the ball that made the difference. We will miss her tremendously this next season because she has been the glue that has held our defense together for the last 4 years. Ms. Katie Bader. At the beginning of each season when I'm typing up our roster and have to list the players' heights, I always think that we should have 2 heights listed for all of the players. Their actual physical heights and then the heights that they play. Looking at Gretchen and Katie, you can see that they are not physically tall, but I can assure you that they have played tall for the Valley Catholic volleyball team for 4 years. We as a Valley family are proud of all that they have accomplished and proud that they are being recognized as part of the 2012 Volleyball Dream Team. I know that I speak on behalf of Gretchen and Katie in saying thank you for this honor.
Our Volleyball Dream Team Player of the Year this year is a repeat offender. Same as last year. It's Amy Held from St. Pius. Amy just came from actually playing volleyball today, didn't you, Amy? Yeah, so we appreciate you being here today, and she had to rush here to get here, so again, we appreciate that. Our Coach of the Year, it was a tough one this year. We have so many great volleyball programs, but this year's Coach of the Year led Perryville to the state Final Four for the first time ever. David Murley for the Lady Pirates.
Thank you. This is a tremendous honor. First of all, I'd like to thank my wife for all the sacrifices and support that she gives me throughout the volleyball season, and to my 4 children who miss me dearly during the volleyball season. They make this all possible. And my assistant coaches, Danny Amnes and Sierra Esselt, who do a tremendous job, and especially to the volleyball players at PHS. They are a great group of girls to work with, and it's been an honor and a privilege to work with them. And because of them, they make this possible. Thank you.
Keep going for the Volleyball Dream Team. Big round of applause. Before we move on to the Football Dream Team, I want you to take a look at your programs. Again, if you were lucky enough to get one today. We have a sponsor list tucked in there, and I just want to thank each and every one of those sponsors, because the Dream Team ceremony and all our Dream Team interviews wouldn't be possible without those list of businesses in our area. So shop with those folks if you wouldn't mind. It's now time to start our Football Dream Team. 22 members this year. This year we did not discern offensive and defense. We just took the top 22 vote getters and compiled them all in there, and I think we came out with a pretty good list. Our first presenter led his team to a district championship, shared the conference title, and had the 10-win season this year, which I believe was the first 10-win season ever for Park Hills Central. Please welcome Coach Corey Schweiss.
First off, I'd like to thank KTJJ for everything that they do to support high school sports, from having the end zone shows after the football games, which I know we all enjoy. I know the football coaches all listen to that and see how everybody else did during the evening. To the round table that they host on Tuesday evenings now at Buffalo Wild Wings, which is always a treat to be able to attend that. And then putting on this Dream Team ceremony. Those are just great examples of how they showcase the athletes in our communities. And for this, I know these 4 young men up here with me, we thank you for it. First, I'm going to start by talking about our team success. These 4 gentlemen up here, Blake, Cody, Reed, and Derek, they were part of a lot of success that our team has had over the past 3 seasons. We were able to win 10 games, as Glenn mentioned. First time we were able to do that in our school's history. That was a tremendous feat. We had probably the toughest schedule we've ever put together in order to accomplish that feat. Our 3 losses came to Sullivan, who was 12-1 and lost their last football game to Webb City in 4A. We lost to St. Jen. They were 10-2. And one of those losses was to us, and the other one was to Maplewood. And then we also lost to St. Jen lost to Maplewood. Yeah.
we lost to John Burroughs, and you know, John Burroughs was a pretty good football team as well. I think a lot of people knew about them. So the 3 losses we had, the teams were combined 35-3 or 35-4, I guess, after their playoff losses. So you know, the 3 losses we had were pretty respectable losses. On behalf of our team, I would like to introduce our 4 Dream Teamers. I will start with Blake Nephew, right here. Blake is the son of Jeff and Kim Bland of Park Hills. Blake has never gotten anything but A's in high school and is ranked near the top of his class. He has an awesome ACT score. He has been recognized as Academic All-State for 3 consecutive years. He is a member of this year's basketball team, and he's also the student body president. These characteristics helped Blake be a leader on our football team for the past 3 years, and he's going to be a tough one to replace. As far as Blake's accomplishments on the offensive side of the ball, his teams have rushed for over 11,000 yards in the past 3 seasons. He has led the team in pancake blocks. We refer to this at Central, we refer to this as putting them on the bus. You know, there's a guy playing, I think it's left tackle for the Baltimore Ravens right now, and there was a book out about him a few years back, and we really got the saying from that book. But he does a tremendous job of blocking, whether it's pulling to kick out, pulling to lead, getting to a linebacker, or just man blocking the guy across from him. Blake is great at all of it. Offensive linemen get overlooked a lot, but at Central we understand that these are the guys that have led to our success over the past few seasons, and we have had none better than Blake. Defensively, he was the leader on our defensive front. He was one of only a handful of guys that played both ways, and he never seemed to tire. We usually put Blake wherever we needed to put him to create mismatches or to take away the other team's best plays. He played defensive end, defensive tackle, and nose tackle on the defensive line. He ended the season with 68 tackles, 14 tackles for a loss, 6 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles. As a sophomore, Blake was second-team All-Region player on the offensive line. As a junior, Blake was a first-team All-Conference and All-Region player on the offensive line. And this season, Blake was voted first team on the offensive and defensive lines, both in the All-Conference and All-Region meetings. Blake was voted as co-lineman of the year in both the conference and the region. Blake was also first-team offensive line for the All-State team that the media chose. He was also voted second team on the offensive line All-State by the Coaches Association. He finished his senior year by obviously being a member of the Dream Team. Mr. Blake Nephew. Next to Blake here, I have Cody Harrison. Cody is the son of Tony and Deborah Harrison of Park Hills. Cody is also a 3-year starter. Like Blake, he also does very well in the classroom, making nearly all A's. His abilities in the classroom also help Cody be a tremendous leader on the field. He is the captain of our defense and made checks based on alignments, splits, and personnel. He called coverages and sometimes changed coverages even after motion had started for the offense. We asked a lot of him, and he never disappointed. On offense, he was a key player to our success. Although he was one of our best runners, he was also one of our best blockers. Because of this, Cody played a lot of fullback, which I know Cody hadn't played previous to this year, but he did because he knew it would be best for our football team. He started playing more and more offense as the year went on. Beginning of the season, we didn't really play him a whole lot on offense because the last couple seasons he was having some injury issues, and he was so valuable to our defensive secondary that we started the season not playing him much on offense, but our offense really was hurt because of that. So as we went on in the year, he started playing more and more offense, and because of that, we started having more offensive success. His abilities on the offensive side of the ball really made our offense go, so it was hard to keep him out when games started being important. Statistically, on defense, Cody ended the year with 93 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and 5 interceptions. On offense, he ended with 72 carries for 527 yards and 6 touchdowns, but really led the way with his ability to block. As a junior, Cody was on the first team, all-conference team, and the all-region teams as a defensive back. As a senior, Cody was on the first team, all-conference, and all-region teams as a defensive back and a fullback and running back. Cody was also a second-team coach's all-state player as a defensive back. Obviously, he was also a member of the Dream Team, Mr. Cody Harrison. Okay, next, all the way at the far end is Derek Mitchell. Derek is the son of Randy and Lana Mitchell of Park Hills. Derek also excels in the classroom, making nearly all A's. Derek is also a key player on our baseball team. His abilities on the diamond will probably land him back on this stage in the spring. Derek ended up being a two-way player for us this year. We played him at defensive end to help our depth on the defensive line. Derek had some defensive highlights for us as the year went on. He ended the season with 26 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery, which was a touchdown. On offense, he was our power running back. And if anybody's ever got to watch us play, that's pretty much what we do. We're a power-style football team, and he was kind of the key component to our power running game. He was a main reason that we were able to have some of the most memorable drives ever, including a 26-play, 87-yard, 14.5-minute drive to start the game against Maplewood. We wanted ball control in that game, and Derek was a perfect back for that style. Because we were able to do that, and then a combination of how good our defense was, we were able to shut out a pretty explosive team in Maplewood. In 2 seasons at Central, Derek has become a pretty decorated football player. Derek ended the season with over 1,000 yards rushing, becoming only the 3rd player in school history to accomplish that feat twice. He scored more touchdowns in one season last year, 22, than any other player, and with his 13 touchdowns from this season, his 35 total touchdowns ranks 2nd all-time at Central for a career in scoring touchdowns. He was tied for 1st last season in scoring with 134 points in a single season, and this season scored 88 more points and now ranks 2nd in his career in scoring with 222 total points. He ranked 2nd in single season rushing last year with his 1,400 yards, and with his 1,000 yards this season, his 2,406 rushing yards ranks him 3rd in his career rushing at Central High School. And again, he did this in just 2 seasons. Derek was 1st team all-conference and all-region both last year and this year, and he is also a 2-time member of the Dream Team, Mr. Derek Mitchell. And our final member of the Dream Team is our lone junior, Reed Lucas. He's 3rd from my left here. Reed is the son of Louis Lucas and Susie Oakes, both of Park Hills. Reed is a member of the basketball team and also excels in baseball and could be up here in the spring. Reed is one of the most entertaining players I've ever had the pleasure to watch. He makes plays on the field that you wouldn't think are possible. He literally seems like he's everywhere. I know there was several times this year, and it was just baffled you, and then you'd watch the film, and it would still just amaze you. He does a little bit of everything. When you combine his instinctive ability, his ability to go 110% to the whistle, and his 4.5 speed, you get a junior football player that has already been named to the All-State team twice with another year ahead of him. As a sophomore last season, Reed was named 1st team on the All-Conference and All-Region teams, and Reed was the Conference and Region Defensive Player of the Year. He was also the Media All-State 2nd team and a member of the Dream Team. Not to be outdone, this season, he was again named to the 1st team on the All-Conference and All-Region teams, and again was named Conference and Region Defensive MVP. This season, he managed to be selected to the Media All-State 1st team, and then when the Coaches Association picked their football team, he was also 1st team All-State in the Coaches Association. As you can see from these awards, he is a tremendous defensive player. However, Reed is a good football player, period. He, like Cody, helped our offense because of their ability to run, catch, and block. Reed finished the season with only 27 carries, but he had 121 yards and a touchdown, but he was also 4th on our team in receptions and receiving yards. He did this not playing very much offense at all. We sparingly used him on offense because of his value to our team on the defensive side of the ball, where he again broke our school record with 165 tackles. He had broke that record last year when he had 162 tackles as a sophomore. He also had a record 35 tackles for a loss, 5.5 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Like I said, he broke last year's school record of 162 tackles, which he had last year. I have a feeling that we'll see him up here again next year, barring any injuries. Mr. Reed Lucas. Thank you.
couple of things on two of those guys. Blake Nephew, I saw him outside of the Park Hills Central Christmas Tournament, last week, 2 weeks ago, and pulling up, they always reserve a spot for us at J-98 for J-98 for a first-class parking spot so we can walk right in. And there's a cone that says KTJJ on it, so I just pulled up, and rather than get out and move it, I just kind of pulled all the way up to the cone and tapped it a little bit and kind of bent it over, and I got out and looked at it, and I thought, that's fine, and walked in. Came back out a little bit later on, not thinking much about it, and Blake Nephew's standing there, and Blake's just looking at the cone and then looking at me, and he goes, "Didn't want to move the cone, huh?" He was like, "You just wanted to run straight over it? Is that what it was?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't run over it. I just tapped it a little bit." But I thought that was pretty funny. And then Reed Lucas, I saw him hit his first home run last year, and I overheard him telling his buddies after the game, he goes, "I hit my first home run, and J-98 was here to call it, man. That's awesome." So glad we could be a part of that, Reed. Moving on next is Farmington Knights head coach Todd Vaughn. His 7th year coaching, only 1 losing record for Farmington. Please welcome Coach Vaughn to the podium.
First of all, I'd like to do what most of the other coaches have done and thank J-98 for their coverage. Just like Coach Weiss said, we're football junkies, and after the game, first thing we do is go sit in the office and eat and listen to the radio show after the game, and also enjoy your show that you do during the week. That's a lot of fun to go to. Our athlete for this year, also I'd like to congratulate all the athletes. I think it's amazing when you sit here and listen to what they've accomplished, and they all have the same characteristics, and I think that's something that everybody could learn from. Our athlete this year is Ryder Garrett. He was inside linebacker, offensive lineman, and receiver for us. He's accompanied here tonight with his parents, Hud and Tanya Garrett, and his brother, Roper. Ryder's been an all-conference, all-district football player for us multiple times in multiple years. He is a team player, always willing to put what's best for his team ahead of his individual goals or his individual wants. He moved from wide receiver to offensive line for us this year after, I think it was week 3 or 4. Never once complained, jumped in and did what was best for our team. Has a great work ethic, has a great attitude, a lot of fun to be around. Athletically speaking and on the field, he has a great vision and great instincts. I think it's in the blood, in the Garrett blood. He enjoys the physical aspect of the game, a very physical football player. He has been a very, very important part of our football program for the past 4 years. He was a strong contributor last year to our semifinal team. He's from a great family. They have done an excellent job raising their children. Ryder's an outstanding individual, and no doubt in my mind that he will be successful in life no matter what he does. He is going to play football at the next level, not sure where yet. As a coach, I can tell you that we always enjoy coaching kids who love the sport as much as we do. And I can tell you that Ryder Garrett loves football and has a passion for it. So I present to you Ryder Garrett.
Our next presenter, unable to attend today. It was Festus coach Russ Schmidt. He was 2007 Coach of the Year, but he sent assistant coach Jim Sardo to speak in his place. So please welcome Coach Sardo to the stage.
First of all, I'd like to thank J-98, KREI, KJFF for all the coverage and exposure they give high school athletics in Southeast Missouri. Brandon was an impact player who anchored the middle of the defense, which was statistically the best in the conference. And he also was a starting offensive guard. The reason for Brandon's success is his work habits. Brandon never missed a day in the weight room, 100% attendance. He was always at practice, giving great effort and bringing a great attitude. Here are some of the numbers that Brandon created in the weight room. He had a 350-pound bench press, a 425-pound squat, a 29-inch vertical jump, and a 5'2" 40. Brandon was also voted by his teammates team captain. 2011 statistics, he had 26 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, 20 assists, 1 fumble recovery. 2011 athletic honors, he was a first-team all-conference defensive line, Mississippi Area Red Conference, first-team Southeast Missouri All-Region team defensive tackle. And 2012, statistically, he had 16 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 10 assists, 1 fumble recovery, 1 forced fumble, 2 QB sacks. And that's all from all you football coaches know out there, to have an odd defense, you have to have a great nose tackle, and he was. In 2012, his athletic honors was a first-team all-conference defensive line, second-team all-district defensive line, first-team Southeast Missouri all-regional team defensive tackle, first-team all-conference offensive guard. Brandon Barton.
Next up is a first-year coach with the Fox Warriors. Please welcome Brent Tinker.
Well, thanks everybody for giving us the opportunity to be here. I'm going to start kind of like the rest of the coaches have also. I don't want to miss an opportunity to say thank you and congratulations. You know, you don't always get the opportunity to do this. You know, I think in our area too, sometimes sometimes our kids are maybe a little under-noticed, definitely maybe some under-recruited. But thank you guys for what you did. It's pretty nice, and this is an awesome opportunity, and you guys are great people. And just to go ahead and throw my little extra thing in there is, you've been leaders at your schools. Don't stop. You got a long life to go to continue leading in the community. So thank you guys for what you do. The night is about you. We really appreciate the good choices you made, and sure hope you can keep doing it, because you know we're going to keep being neighbors for a long time. And again, thank you guys for giving this to these guys, because they're great kids. Now on to my great kid here. You know, we're in a lot of schools coming here under a lot of different situations, and I have some notes, and I'll try the best I can to stick to them. But I want to thank everybody, especially the coaches, for giving us an opportunity for voting for Tyler. You know, we don't get to play against you guys a lot. We don't really get to see you guys. I know some of you guys, but I don't know all the coaches in the area. I almost tripped over one of Judd's Coach of the Year awards on the way up here. You know, a lot of you guys have done a great job, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. I'm very happy for you guys just to be with you. Tyler is the son of Diane Critchlow and Kirby Brewer. Great folks, very supportive. You know, it's always important to have the supportive parents, and you know, I've got a good group of parents. Just don't want to miss the opportunity to say thank you to you guys. Tyler is a 3-year starter for us. For 3 years in a row, he has been an all-Suburban West football player. He's got honors on both sides of the ball. This year, he ended up getting second-team all-conference wide receiver, which kind of goes more with the doesn't speak to his talent. It speaks to the amount of times that we throw the ball. Tyler's as good as there is. We got second-team wide receiver, unanimous choice first-team defensive back, and actually he's a heck of a kick returner. He led the conference in punt return, so we got a second-team all-conference kick return also. A variety of all-district awards, first team on both sides of the ball. He even actually made it all the way to the all-state team this year for Class 5. We could not be more proud of him. I'm going to go ahead and keep on going on some of the decorated honors the guy's gotten. This summer, he was selected by the St. Louis Rams to play for the play for the NFL High School Player Development. Got to go up to Indianapolis. You were there. You got to go up there and play in the 7-on-7 team. Did great, represented our area, represented the region very well, got some touchdowns, and got to play against some of the best kids in the country. It was a great opportunity for him, and we're very proud of him. On to the person. Tyler's a 3.3, probably a little above a 3.3 grade point average. He's going to have the opportunity to play college sports. The good thing about Tyler, which is probably very true about most of you guys back here, is he kind of bucked the trend of I'm going to play one sport and then I'm going to just kind of isolate and just do that. Tyler plays basketball also. I hope he gets – I'm pretty sure he's going to get a lot of honors for basketball too, because he's a great player, and he has been played varsity for 4 years, right? 4 years for varsity there. Also runs track. He's had a pretty decorated career there. Good young man. I know I'm kind of getting a little long-winded, and I know it's been a long day, so I'll go ahead and cut it out. But thank you guys for the opportunity for Tyler. Thank you guys for including us, and congratulations to everybody. Thank you.
You know, Fox High School is a bit on the outskirts of our listening area. I mean, we come in fine up there, but they're right on the edge. And I always like to see it when a team right there on the edge of our listening area gets in to the Dream Team. They get a player into the Dream Team because it shows two things. One, the player has to be really good, and the other is our coaches who vote. They don't just play favorites. They're not voting for teams in their own conference only. They see the bigger picture. They know who's good, and they make the right decisions. So a lot of that goes to the coaches, and then Tyler Brewer as well, a heck of a player, along with all the other Dream Teamers that we've ever had that are kind of on the outskirts that don't necessarily play all the main teams in our area. So a lot to be said for Coach Tinker and Tyler Brewer making the Dream Team. Next up, we have a coach who has won two previous sportsmanship awards, or his team actually has. Please welcome Shannon Henson from Fredericktown.
Thanks to you guys, and congrats to you guys. I'll kind of shorten that up there, but it is quite an honor to be up here. It's quite an honor to be up here in front of all these great athletes. These three young men I'm going to talk about, three members of our football team. They were all team captains this year. They were three of a group of 16 guys that are very special to me. You know, it's funny, a lot of people come up and they say one of two things. They either say, well, you guys had a good football season or you guys had a disappointing football season. And it's kind of hard to measure it. You know, we were 6-5, 5 losses, 4 of those losses to state-ranked teams. You could probably come up with 5 plays, 5 individual plays that if they'd have gone another way, we finished with a record of 7-5 or maybe even a record of 12-1. We had a really good football team. You know, 2 of those losses to Park Hills, 1 of those losses to Park Hills in overtime, and won by 1 point. And when you build a relationship with a group of seniors like this that have been through it all and really as a group did not have a whole lot of success at younger levels, they just refused to just be mediocre and worked hard and tried to make something out of their senior year. And we fell short in a lot of games. And a lot of those games, you don't know when it's going to end. And it's kind of, you know, a lot of times the end of the season's coming and you know how you're going to part ways with them. I didn't have the opportunity to do that. It was one of those things where our season ended very quickly. And it was a tearful moment, and I told those guys that I wasn't ready to part with them. I wasn't done with them yet. And I know that they're going to have a big impact on my life the rest of my life, though. And these are great young men. They're great people. 3 out of a group of 16 that'll probably be one of the most special groups I've ever been around. First of all, Jeremy's here. Jake's in the middle, and the good-looking one down there in the end is Justin. So, Jeremy Grimminger here to my left. He's a member of, he's the son of Steve and Kathy Burrows. He's a member of the basketball, baseball, Beta Club, Student Council, and Pep Club. Again, another 3-sport athlete. He was second team all-conference at quarterback, very good conference lineup of quarterbacks. He was named first team all-region in both the Coaches Association and media, and he was named to the all-state team, third team by the Coaches Association. This year, rushing the football, he's a dual-threat quarterback for us, 197 rushes for 1,103 yards and 20 touchdowns. He threw for 1,550 yards and 21 touchdowns. That's 2,653 total yards of offense and 41 touchdowns. Some of the things that he's done is over a 2-year career. And all 3 of these young men definitely put a dent in the record book at Fredericktown High School. His 126 points in the season, 7th all-time, 2,368 yards career rushing, 6th all-time, 20 touchdowns in the season's 4th all-time, 218 career points is 4th all-time. His 35 career touchdowns is 3rd all-time. His 1,550 yards in passing in the season's 1st all-time. 2,653 total yards of offense in the season is 1st all-time. He also holds the 2nd place record that he set last year on that. 2,603 career yards passing is 1st all-time. 31 career touchdown passes is 1st all-time. And this young man has 4,997 career all-purpose yards, 3 yards short of 5,000, which is quite an accomplishment. You know, he's a quarterback, and I was a quarterback coach, and And sometimes I'd call him sweetheart, and I think he probably didn't know why. It was because I spent more time than him than I would with my wife during football season, so I got a little confused sometimes. But he's a warrior. He was kind of surprised. You know, we just wanted a guy a couple years ago with a pulse to turn around and hand the ball off like we've always done. And had kind of a breakout game and did a lot of things that we didn't know he was going to be capable of doing. It was definitely a pleasant surprise for us. One of the things that I really appreciated for him, he led our scout team. And there'd be times when we start the offensive side of practice with him in a bad mood because the scout team maybe didn't do what he wanted them to do. He's extremely competitive, a fierce competitor. One of those guys that, you know, going into changing offenses and going from a power offense to a spread offense in the middle of the season, he was quite a contributor in that, you know, and we had lots of conversations. Even these other two, these three amigos I got up here, they all contributed to that because they're extremely intelligent football players, very conscientious of what they did, and they are warriors on the football field. Jeremy Grimminger. Second guy here is Jake Karokas. He's the son of Ross and Kelly Karokas. He's a member of the basketball and baseball teams, another three-sport athlete, Beta Club, Student Council, Christians in Action, Fellowship of Christian Action, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Leadership, and PSI. Jake was a first-team all-conference as both a linebacker and wide receiver. He had 92 tackles this year, 22 of those for a loss, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 3 fumbles. He had 23 receptions for 606 yards and caught 12 touchdown passes. So over half of the passes he caught were for touchdowns. So, Jeremy, you didn't throw it to him enough, obviously. But that 12 touchdowns was a 55-year-old record at our high school. His 37 career receptions is 7th all-time. 824 career receiving yards is 5th all-time. 17 career touchdown receptions is 2nd all-time. His 606 yards in a season is 3rd all-time. His 26.3 average per catch is 1st all-time. Like I said, he owns the single-season touchdown record. Defensively, 276 career tackles is 2nd all-time, and his 31 career tackles for loss is 1st all-time. Jake is a three-sport athlete. Like I said, he's a 4-year varsity start. He started several games as a freshman. I wish, you know, you could kind of show highlights of these guys. The hardest hit I've ever seen in high school football, ever. And it was at a contact camp at Farmington. And he hit a kid from Sullivan, and the kid's helmet came off just from the inertia. And he's known as a hard hitter, a hard worker, dedicated football player, dedicated athlete, and a great young man. Jake Karokas. Last, we have Justin Sawyer. Justin's the son of Randy and Paula Sawyer, and I want to mention his family. Paula has been the president of our parent group for several years. His older brother, Ryan, who was also a Dream Team member, former All-State football player, she was the parent group president for 4 years when he was in high school. So I think she took a year off, and she's done it the last 4 years and just did a tremendous job for her, and she's going to be missed, and I appreciate everything she's done. I remember actually having the speech when Ryan was up here as a Dream Team member, mentioning that I was glad he had a younger brother, and here we are kind of come full circle, and he's up here on stage. And the other coaches I play, there aren't any more, so you don't have to worry about that. This is the end of the line. Justin is ranked 7th in his class with a 4.0 GPA. He is a member of the basketball team, Beta Club, Student Council, Christian in Actions, FCA, and PSI. Justin was a unanimous choice first-team all-conference wide receiver and first-team defensive back and first-team special teams player. He was also named the offensive MVP of our conference and of our SEMO Coaches Association All-Region team, and he was named his second team to the Alt-State team in the Coaches Association. He had 71 catches for 708 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 two-point catches. He also had 22 rushes for 90 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had 50 tackles, 4 interceptions, 3 fumbles. He was 3 for 140 yards in defensive returns and 2 touchdowns. He was also named for the 2nd year in a row to the Academic All-State team. His 5th career interceptions is 4th all-time. 13 career touchdown receptions is 3rd. 71 receptions in a season is 1st all-time. He had 708 receiving yards, which is 1st. 103 career receptions, which is 1st. And 1,077 career receiving yards, which is 1st all-time. his play was phenomenal. He's 5'6", 135 pounds, and a lot of teams would double team him, and he'd still go up and make catches that you'd normally see, a guy 6'2" make. Some of the guys after the game the first thing out of the coach's mouth was, "My gosh, that Sawyer kid is unbelievable." And I would look at him and say, "I know it." Sometimes I couldn't believe it either. He was never afraid to make mistakes, and he would make mistakes, but it never slowed him down. And his play and the way that he approached the game was contagious to the other people around him. All three of these guys are just great young men. I'm going to miss them, and they definitely made a mark on our football program. Justin Sawyer. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Our next presenter in this first year after taking over for legendary coach Stan Helms at Herculaneum, he led the team to a conference title this year. Please welcome David Cook of the Herculaneum Black Cats.
Well, thank you. I'd like to also thank the radio station for all their hard work. It's great the coverage that all of these athletes get throughout the season and around our area throughout the school year. This year we had several players returning on our team that had significant playing experience over the last few seasons, but it was difficult to see the season end. This group of young men overcame multiple obstacles this summer, ranging from our practice field being resurfaced, the gym and weight room was closed down because they put a new roof on. Some of them experienced significant changes in their families, and some of them even had loss of family members over the course of just that few months in the summer. But this group of young men overcame those obstacles with grit, determination, and mental toughness that exemplifies what we all hope that our athletes will learn through sports. As Glenn said, we had a good season. We finished with a record of 7-3. After dropping the first two games, we went on a 7-game winning streak, won a conference title for the first time since 2004. Season came to an abrupt end in Week 10 against Lutheran North. Of course, as any football coach would tell you, there's only one way for a season to end that doesn't feel bad. And in our sport, there's only 2 teams a year per class that get the opportunity to achieve that. In our first 2 games, we struggled to find a rhythm. By Week 3, we started figuring things out. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Jordan, made a few changes, and defensively, we moved a few guys around, and several guys began to rise to the top with their level of play. The first young man I'd like to talk about is all the way over to the left. Dustin Johnson was one of those players that came into his own and stepped up his game. Dustin is the son of Stuart Orr and Donna Johnson, who are here with us today. He is a 2-year starter for us at the running back position. He started as a sophomore. As a sophomore, he ran for over 1,000 yards, even though he missed a few games that season. He is a 2-sport athlete. He excels in football and track. And this season in football was a breakout year for Dustin. He set several school records. He set a new record for the longest rushing touchdown, which was a 95-yard score. He is the single-season rushing leader with 2,271 yards on 312 carries with a 7.28 yards per carry average. He set a school record for rushing touchdowns with 35 total TDs, and he set a record for total points scored. He ended the season with 2,400 all-purpose yards, including return yards and return yards and special teams yardage. He had 35 touchdowns and 6 two-point conversions. Dustin has received several postseason honors. He was a unanimous first-team all-conference selection as a running back. He was named the co-conference MVP, offensive MVP, along with Valley Catholic's Tyler Fallert. Dustin was named the Southeast Missouri Coaches Association All-Region Team as a first-team running back. He was an all-district player. He was an all-metro player for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and he has been named to the Dream Team. We're looking forward to see what great things Dustin can do this spring on the track, as well as next season in football. He is just a junior, Dustin Johnson. Another one of our players who grew this season was Brian Duncan. Brian is the son of Jennifer Alley. Brian's grandfather's here with us today. Brian is also a 2-sport athlete. He excels in football and wrestling, and as I understand, is ranked at the top of our class in wrestling for his weight class right now. He's first in the state. He just, okay, don't let me forget that. Brian's one of those guys who won't let you forget anything about him. If you do, he'll be sure to remind you. Brian is a 2-year starter for us on the offense and defensive linemen, and most coaches will tell you offensive linemen don't get a lot of props. It's hard to talk about stats with an offensive lineman because there's not a lot of stats you can keep for him aside from sacks allowed or pancake blocks and things like that. But he's a 2-year starter as an offensive and a defensive lineman. As such, on the offensive side of the ball, Brian has been a part of an offense that offensive backfields the past 2 seasons, accounting for well over 3,000 yards in rushing. Brian was a force on the defensive side of the ball this year, playing an interior defensive line position. We moved him from an outside spot to an inside spot this year, which generally is not well received by a guy that plays defensive end. But Brian came in and took on that nose guard position quite well. He had 50 solo tackles, 15 assists, 8 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, for a total of 74 tackles. He had a fumble caused, a fumble recovered, and a safety. Brian only left the field on punts. He was in on all other special teams, and he even kicked off for us from time to time. When he wasn't kicking off, he was on the kickoff team. He was oddly enough, our safety, who actually ran down and covered so our kicker could be the safety. He played every play with everything he had. He played the game the way it's meant to be played. All of those things are impressive, but what's more impressive to me about Brian, even more so than his level of play, is how much he grew as a young man and as a leader this year. Brian was our team leader. Late in the summer, our coaching staff was talking about how our practices were successful or unsuccessful based on Brian's level of effort and Brian's focus. Coach McCaws and I, our offensive line coach, sat down with Brian and had a conversation with him about his role as our team leader. He took that role squarely on his shoulders after that conversation, and about week 3, Brian began to bring this team together. Brian bought into our program philosophy, and he united our team. It was amazing transformation to watch as Brian grew as a young man and as a team leader. Brian was a unanimous selection as a first-team all-conference offensive and defensive lineman. He was also named the conference defensive MVP, which generally doesn't go to a defensive lineman. Brian was a first-team selection for the Southeast Missouri Coaches Association All-Region team as an offensive and a defensive lineman, and the SEMO area coaches selected Brian as the Class II Lineman of the Year. Brian was named to the 3rd team All-State defensive lineman by the Missouri Football Coaches Association, and he is also an All-District player and has been named to the Dream Team. This is Brian Duncan.
Next presenter unable to attend today, Hillsboro Hawks coach Brian Robbins. Hillsboro had a football banquet of their own going on today. It conflicted, so they were unable to attend. So I will be speaking on behalf of Coach Robbins and all 3 of his Dream Team athletes. Let me tell you a little bit about the Hillsboro Hawks, though. They put together a great season. They made it all the way to the quarterfinal round of the state football playoffs this year before losing to St. Mary's. They had a 10-win campaign this year. Andrew Reed was one of their Dream Teamers, and he is a linebacker, a senior. He had a season-ending injury week 7, and he missed the last 6 games, but still the coaches put him on the Dream Team due to the caliber of player that he is. He's a first-team all-conference, all-district, all-region linebacker. He was the 2012 Defensive Player of the Year in their conference, in the MAFC. 41 solo tackles, 22 assists, 5 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, and 1 interception. Plus, he's stellar in the classroom with a 4.0 GPA. He's ranked 2nd out of 261 students at Hillsboro High School. Please give a big round of applause for Andrew Reed. Their second of 3 Dream Teamers at Hillsboro this year on the football team was Jared Shepard, a beast at defensive tackle, also a senior this year. 59 solo tackles for Jared, 30 assists, 8 tackles for a loss. He's a 2-time first-team all-conference and district winner, all-state in 2011, 2011 Dream Teamer as well, also 3rd in the state in wrestling in 2012. And then this year he was an offensive lineman and defensive lineman selection for All-State. Pretty good GPA of 3.0 as well. Jared Shepard, defensive tackle for Hillsboro. And the third for the Hawks is running back Nick Baumgardner, also a senior. 179 carries this year, almost 1,400 yards, 7.7 yards per carry with 20 touchdowns. He was first team unanimous all-conference. Also caught the ball 6 times for 103 yards, 17 yards per catch. Missed 2 games due to an injury. Still made the dream team. Give it up for Nick Baumgardner of the Hillsboro Hawks. Our next presenter is here today. He turned the North County Raiders around after 7 straight losing seasons. In his 4th year, he won a share of the conference title and had a winning record of 7-4. He was also Player of the Year twice back in '98 and '99 if you look at your programs. Jeremy McDowell from North County.
I just want to also take this opportunity to thank J-98 and all the hard work you guys put in, and all the athletes. What an awesome accomplishment. You guys will remember this forever. So. This gentleman standing to the left of me here, Mr. Wyatt Compton, he is the son of Bill and Kathy Compton, comes from a great family, great parents, and a great young man. He's a member of our leadership council, which represents our football team. A few stats, he had over 1,600 yards passing with 16 touchdowns, rushing. He had just under 1,000 yards rushing with 15 touchdowns, so 31 total touchdowns. Obviously, a big part of our football team, our main leader. He played both sides of the ball. Defensively, he had over 40 tackles, a sack, and 3 interceptions. He was a member of our all-conference team on offense and defensive side of the ball, all-district, both sides of the ball, and all-region, both sides of the ball. Wyatt was a unanimous conference Offensive Player of the Year, and he was unanimous conference MVP. A special football player and a special young man. As a freshman, Wyatt kind of just got thrown into the fire. We were a struggling football program, and he took over the quarterback position. And he did a lot for us, and he kind of got put in he had a raw deal, basically. But as a freshman, and as a sophomore, he was no doubt our leader, and he was our greatest competitor. And, as a freshman, you can't really say that too much. And he was really about the only player that I could really trust. And he means a lot to me. And, as a junior now, he is no doubt our leader and a guy that everyone looks to. And, something about Wyatt, if anyone asks me about Wyatt, I say that he's just a tough football player. That's how I describe him. He's the toughest kid that I've ever been around on the football field. He's just taking licks after licks and keeps getting back up, and then we go ask him to play defense, and he didn't come off the field. He actually played more than half the season this year with a broken hand on his throwing hand, and not many people knew really about that. And he never complained. He just taped it up, really, and still threw and led our team to the our first 7-win season in a long time. We tied for first in our conference, and that was a long time coming. And he is North County football. And what's awesome is that I'm really excited that he's going to be back next year. So I'm extremely proud and happy to introduce Wyatt Compton.
How lucky is Wyatt? He's got a brother that's probably going to be playing in the NFL to teach him how to play the linebacker spot, and then his coach is a former Player of the Year who can teach him how to play the quarterback spot. So he's not in too bad of a spot. Our next presenter is Potosi Trojans coach Mark Casey.
I'm here to present to you today Dusty Weidman. Dusty Weidman is a running back and linebacker for us. Been one of the best players we've had in a long time. He's been really good for us. Dusty's the son of Kurt and Lisa Weidman. In 2012, he was our team captain. He's been a 3-year starter for us, and he was selected by his teammates and coaching staff as a team MVP this year. Has great work ethic and is just a great team leader overall, and we're truly going to miss him come next season. Some of Dusty's stats. In 2012, his offensive stats, he had 184 carries for 1,061 yards and 10 touchdowns. over his career, over the past couple years as a running back, he's had 1,939 yards and 22 touchdowns. Dusty was just as good on defense, though. He started as a sophomore on defense. This past season, he had 89 tackles, 66 were for solos, 1 interception, 2 sacks. And in his career, he had 227 tackles, which 153 were solos, 4 interceptions, 4 sacks, and 4 fumble recoveries. Some of his awards that he has received: as a sophomore in 2010, he was second-team all-conference linebacker and second-team all-district linebacker. As a junior, he was first-team all-conference running back, honorable mention all-conference linebacker, second-team all-region running back. And then this past season, Dusty, for his senior year, he was first-team all-conference running back and linebacker. He was a second-team SEMO Coaches Association running back and linebacker for the region. He was a first-team all-region media linebacker. He was a second-team all-media region running back in a first-team Missouri Coaches Association all-region running back and linebacker. Dusty Weidman.
Our next presenter is my favorite person to interview. All you got to do is ask him one question. He'll take it from there. He's a 4-time Coach of the Year. He shared the conference title this year. Another 10-win season, which was the 6th time in 12 years for St. Genevieve. Bob Stolzer of the Dragons.
Okay, again, congratulations to all the young men and ladies behind me here. It's a very prestigious honor to be selected to the Dream Team. And also, Glenn and Ryan, thank you guys for what you do. Toward the end of the season, I had the opportunity to sit in at a roundtable discussion, and I was very impressed with the preparation work you guys do for that. These guys just don't get in front of a microphone and yap about this, that, or whatever. They do an awful lot of preparation work, and like I said, you guys, very impressive and great job that you guys do. Okay, it's my pleasure to have 2 of our football players selected this year's Dream Team. First off, I'd like to introduce Kyle Nicholson. He's the shorter one to my far left. Kyle's the son of Dave and Donna Nicholson. Kyle's another one of our players who have also had the pleasure of coaching his dad. That's just a reflection of my experience, so to speak, instead of my age. Kyle's work habits are certainly inherited from his dad, as his dad, too, was a very hard-working young man when he played for me. Kyle's is a success story that I will use and relate to our players of the future. Last year, Kyle was a good player for us, but not a great player. He started only 1 game as a junior and lacked several of the skills that an offensive lineman needs. Like I said, he was a good but not great player. He's always been a hard worker and continued his work habits through the offseason, and this past season really bloomed into a great offensive lineman. Kyle didn't necessarily go from rags to riches, but really should serve it as an example that hard work definitely pays off. Kyle could pretty well do it all as an offensive lineman, no matter what the play was, nor whether it was a pass or a run. He was smart and able to figure out things a lot of times on his own instead of needing to be told what he was doing wrong or right. His play and hard work earned him the following honors this past season. He was a first-team all-conference offensive lineman. He was a co-offensive lineman of the year in our conference. He was a first-teamer all-region for both the Media and SEMO Coaches Association. He was an all-state media second-teamer. He was a Missouri Football Coaches Association all-state third-teamer. He was a first-team Missouri Football Coaches Association all-district, and of course has made the KTJJ or J-98 Dream Team. I'll remember Kyle's being one of the best offensive linemen I've ever had the pleasure to coach, along with one of those players who worked himself into being a great player. Kyle's plans for the future is to attend Purdue University next fall and major in engineering, and he's still considering the possibility of walking on as a football player. Had a discussion with him this morning about that after watching Purdue playing one of the bowl games, and I think Kyle shared with me, looking at their roster, their smallest lineman was, 6'2", 285, something like that. So if we can stretch Kyle a few inches, maybe he'll have an opportunity to do that. Next player is the taller of the 2 gentlemen standing here to my left is Dan Tarana. Dan's the son of Tony and Cheryl Tarana. Dan's one of the players who I'll probably miss the most off this year's squad, not only because of his play, but he started for us ever since he's been a freshman. Dan's another one of those very coachable young that we have at St. Genevieve. It's been enjoyable watching him improve yearly and have such a great senior season. Dan wasn't just a big player who occupied a lot of real estate, but took care of that real estate on the field and was always in someone else's territory as well. Dan has quite a list of accolades the last several years, which are the following. He was selected to the All-Region team as an honorable mention player as a freshman. After his sophomore season, he was voted to the second-team All-Conference, along with the first-team Media and Coaches Association All-Region team. His junior year, he was named to the first-team All-Conference, first-team Media and Coaches All-Region, as well as being named to the third-team All-State. His senior year this past season, he was also first-team All-Conference player, Media and SEMO Coaches All-Region team. He was also voted as a Conference Defensive Lineman of the Year and the SEMO Coaches Association Co-Lineman of the Year. He was also first-team Missouri Football Coaches All-District and was also All-State second team, and like I said, also has made the J-98 Dream Team. I was playing around with some stats or some of my records the other day, and I thought rather than list Dan's season totals, I'll list his 4-year totals. Dan had a total of 182 solo tackles as a defensive lineman. I know Coach Schweiss was talking about some of his players having in the high 100s as far as their tackles, but for a lineman, that's awful lot of tackles. He also had 58 assists. 49 of his tackles were behind the line tackles or tackles for loss. He also scarfed up 5 fumbles and had 4 passes swatted down. Certainly a heck of a career, an indication how much we'll miss Big Dan. He's also a very productive and very good heavyweight wrestler. Right now he's got a season record of 21-1, and that one loss that he's had so far this season was only by 1 point, and he assured me today that he wrestles the same guy Wednesday and he's going to make up for that. Dan's being heavily recruited by a number of colleges and right now is leaning towards attending Valparaiso University, where he intends on majoring in international business. Dan Torrena.
All right, our next presenter is the reigning Coach of the Year 3 years running now, and if he doesn't trip on his awards on the way over, like Coach Tinker said, he's had his team in the state title game each of the past 4 years, winning 2 of those titles. Valley Coach Judd Nagger.
All righty. The good news is that I am the last to speak, and the bad news for you is that I do have to speak. So, I too would like to start out by thanking all of the coaches who helped these 3 fine young men to be voted onto this football team this evening. To J-98, thanks for all you do. You know, you follow us all over the state, you know, all throughout the playoffs, and help a lot of fans back home to be able to hear us play. I am extremely fortunate to have 3 guys up here this evening. The first of which is number 35, Trevor Klump, who's down on the far end. He is the son of Dave and Shirley Klump. I have known him all of my life. His older brothers were actually in my class way back in 1996. So I've known him for a long time. As you can tell by his height, watching him grow up physically has been at times a little boring. However, watching him grow up as a human being has really been a lot of fun. You know, all jokes aside, he's had an amazing career for us. He was the only returning two-way starter on our team this past season. He was the lone returning starter from our offense in 2011. For his career, he finished with 70 receptions for over 1,300 yards and was able to score 16 times. You know, for all that he was able to get done for us on offensive side of the ball, his true meaning for us was on the defensive side of the ball. He was All-State the last 2 seasons as a defensive back, and you know, despite his size, no one really made it a point to go after him because you know, I think they had a lot of respect for him as a football player, and you know, he was able to do just a tremendous job for us. All 3 of these guys have a lot in common. These 3 guys were the hardest working kids that we had on our football team in the off season, and that hard work has helped to lead them up here this evening. I think the best example of what he meant to us as a football player was one day, week 3 or 4, it was extremely hot, and we weren't doing so hot. And, you know, the staff decided that we needed to leave him alone, you know, just for a little bit because our eyes were starting to bleed or something. But so we came back out after maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and he was leading them. He was being the coach. He was running them through drills, running them through practice at the same pace that you know, we would have wanted them to do. So it's been a joy to coach you, Trevor, and you know, we're gonna miss you big time. Our second member is right here to the left of me, number 75, Trey McClure. He is the son of Teresa McClure and Rich McClure. Trey is the hardest worker that I have been around in my 12 years at Valley. His combined total for, you know, bench, squat, clean, and deadlift is nearing 1,500 pounds. At one time during the playoffs, we flat out had to tell him, you need to stop lifting, you need to stop running, because the games were coming way too quick, and he didn't have time to recover. So, I mean, he is the rare high school athlete that can say that he did everything he possibly could at every single opportunity that he had to be the best he could be. Never, ever missed a workout, never went half speed, never ever took a play off. He was always moving high gear. The last 2 seasons, Trey combined for 201 tackles, 30 of those for a loss, and 8 sacks. This is a lot for somebody that plays, you know, defensive line, but he just never quit on any single play. He was always trying to get something done. He was first team All-State this year. Media, first team All-State. Coaches, he was named the defensive MVP by the Class 1 coaches in the area. Between these 2 guys, they were able to dress for 60 games the last 4 years, and they were able to finish with a record of 52-8. So you know, these guys have been involved in a whole lot of football games. On the offensive side of the ball, Trey was one of 5 guys who started for us up front, and we actually had 0 guys back from the season before, and he helped to lead us to 5,000 yards on the ground and nearly 7,000 total yards, which is number 2 all-time ever in the state of Missouri. He will be missed. His work ethic will become the standard at Valley High School. You know, everybody else is going to say, you know, if you want to be one of the best, you're going to have to work as hard as Mr. Trey McClure did. So, number 75, Trey McClure. Our third and final member is junior, number 17, Tyler Follert. He is the son of Mary Jane and the late Alan Follert. Tyler has had a dream season. His accolades are numerous and well-deserved. He is always on the internet trying to understand the best way to become a little faster, the best way to become a little stronger. He's always gone above and beyond everything that we've ever asked of him to do. He is self-motivated and has a very clear vision of what he would like to get done on the field. His off season helped to enabled him to go from 1 carry for 25 yards as a sophomore to 296 carries and 3,030 yards as a junior, well over 10 yards per carry. Obviously, I was not very smart last year that he only had 1 carry, but he rushed for 1,500 yards alone in the last 5 games of the season, at a time when everybody knew he was going to get the football. In the district championship game, he rushed for 484 yards, which is 3rd all-time in a game and 1st all-time ever in the state of Missouri in a playoff game. His 262 yards at state left him 5 yards short of being 1st all-time ever there. Again, probably should have got him 1 or 2 more carries. His 3,030 yards this year actually placed him number 4th all-time in the state of Missouri. He did all this from a shotgun spread offense when everybody knew he was going to be getting the ball. Defensively, the last 2 years, he has 280 tackles, including 130 this past year, 2 pick sixes, one of which was 98 yards, the last play of the half against there, that really helped to turn the ball game around. He was the J-98 Offensive Player of the Year, Regional Offensive MVP, First Team Unanimous Coaches Running Back, First Team Media All-State Running Back, 2012 Class 1 Offensive Player of the Year. He was, just a junior this year, and I have no doubt that he will continue to work hard. However, for him to meet and exceed what he's done this year, he's going to have to be a tremendous leader in the off season. He's going to have to make us a better football team every single day now. Thank you to these 3 guys, and we're going to miss 2 of you, and extremely glad to have 1 of you back. So thank you.
All right, with that, it's time to announce our player and coach of the year for high school football. We won't let you wait any longer. Our player of the year, the record-breaking running back from Valley Catholic High School, Tyler Fowler. Our coach of the year this year broke the streak of 3 straight won by Coach Judd Nagger. It's actually his buddy from Park Hill Central, Corey Schweiss, coach of the year.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I will say this about Judd. Out of the last 3 years, this is probably the best job he's done. I remember 4 years ago, the talk was, of course, I kind of stay up to date with what Valley's doing, but the talk was Valley only had 4 kids in the freshman class, or 5 kids, whatever it was, and they won't be able to keep it up. But that just kind of goes and shows you what kind of a coach Judd is. He does a really good job there. So I want to say you're my coach of the year, bud. Also, there's a lot of good coaches, football coaches in the area. Our conference is loaded with them, I know. Got to know a few more going up to the state convention. So I will accept this award, but I will say it's because we had really good players. My defensive coach, Coach Jones over there. Coach Jones, can you stand, please? I know he won't want to, but I'll have to. We got him 4 or 5 years ago, and he really helped turn our program around. And, we couldn't do it without him. The rest of our coaching staff, the parents of these guys, they do a great job. And I'd just like to thank everybody. Thank you, guys.
Let's hear it one more time for the football dream team. Between just every single player here, I could put together a full 24-hour day highlight reel of all the accomplishments that these guys put together today. It's unreal, the caliber of athletes that we have here in our area, not just football, every single sport, fall sport, winter sport to spring sport. We have so many good athletes, and I don't want anybody to take that for granted, because this area of the state is represented well in each and every sport. So another big round of applause for the entire Dream Team. Why not? I want to say thank you to Roxanne Cummings with Mineral Area College and Mineral Area College in general for allowing us to have the Dream Team ceremony here again this year. I wish all of you safe travels on your way home. Thanks again for taking some time out of your Sunday today. And also the coaches, just about every coach, thanked us here at the radio station for what we do for the kids. We couldn't do this without great participation from parents like yourselves, family members like yourselves, and coaches like yourselves. Each and every one of you coaches has made myself and Ryan feel extremely welcome when we come to your high school for an event, and for that we want to say thank you, and hopefully we can keep that great relationship going in the future. Thanks for coming out today, guys. Thank you.